Good afternoon, beautiful people. It is Monday, August 31st, the first day in our noon time slot and the first day of the rest of our lives. Yeah! We are no longer on FCC regulated radio with Westwood One, although we enjoyed the hell out of that relationship. It was very obvious to both me and our guests and our phone callers that the F word, the word fuck, the word shit, and things of that nature might pop up in conversation pieces. And it got to the point where I very much understood that the FCC life on CBS Sports Radio and Westwood One was probably not the right place for me. And I'm very thankful for everything they did for us. But now we move into the non-regulated show. Now we are on YouTube Monday through Friday, noon to 3 Eastern Daylight Time, Eastern Standard Time, depending on when we decide to set the clock back. 2 to 3 each day, we will be joined by the man with the greatest jawline in the history of sports, A.J. Hawk. So 12 to 2 will be the Pat McAfee Show. 2 to 3 will be McAfee and Hawk. Then on Tuesdays, coming up this fall, we might have the biggest guest in the history of sports shows as a recurring guest. We got a lot of things into work. And starting next week, we will be on the Sirius platform as well from noon to 3. We're not 100% sure which channel. I have not signed the contract, but I do believe we have reached terms. We have no idea where they'll be simulcasting this show at, but as soon as that is announced, we will tell you. Now, we are so thankful to be back in the Sirius relationship. Now, obviously, Westwood One, CBS Sports Radio was on Sirius, but everybody understands that the reason why Sirius is because you can say things that you want to say. You can go longer. It's more like a podcast platform. So whenever we get back on Sirius next week, it will not change this show. It'll just take this show and put it on Sirius. And for them allowing us to do that, be back on that platform, we are very thankful. But this show will be a YouTube show. This show will be a visual show. This show has gotten much more legit. Insert this son of a bitch right here. Look at that. Hey, that's the stuff we're going to talk about today, okay? We'll get to this, obviously. Devastating losses in our community. Then we'll talk about all these things today. To talk about this with us, Maurice Jones-Drew will be joining us in 20 minutes. You know who he is, former Jaguars running back now at NFL Network. We'll talk about the Buccaneers working out some kickers. Ryan Suckup, double doink Cody Parkey, who is only remembered for that day. People forget, was a Pro Bowler in his first couple years, was great with the Eagles, great with the Dolphins, and the Bears situation happens. He's getting a workout. Same with Ryan Suckup, who was Mr. Irrelevant the year I was drafted to the Kansas City Chiefs, then went on to the Titans, has had a great career. There is one guy who's a kicker out there that I think they should pick, and that's Taylor Russolino. And he was the kicker in the XFL for the Battlehawks. I even sent a text down there, and not that my word carries any weight at all, but I sent him a text. I was like, hey, there's a 30-year-old kid who's got long hair, he was in the XFL, who hits a pure fucking ball. And I'm not saying Cody Parkey isn't great. I'm not saying Ryan Suckup isn't, but this dude has not gotten an NFL shot. He's 30 and he's still kicking. I'm like, hey, this would be a cool story. And he's really good. I think he should be the guy. And we'll talk about everything else. All the boys are here. At Nick Morotto, at Tone Diggs, Ty Schmidt, Jason McAfee, the Don. Viva Lazito is back there. Handsome Evan Foxy. Mr. Mansuri has put on some headsets. And intern Mitt is in the back. We're not 100% sure how the phones are going to work.
Oh, yeah.
Because our phone line was via Westwood One.
Right.
Oh.
So we would assume since our relationship and them, now amicably split, but I'm not sure they're just going to pay our phone bill for the extended period of time. So we have to figure those out on the casting couch wearing a triple XL t-shirt at Boston Connor.
I like the big shirt. Very comfortable. And I'm enjoying it. What? Oh, no. I mean, hey, keep your eyes where you want to, wherever they want to go, let them go. But I mean, that's on you, okay, boys?
Sorry. I only go one place.
Well, I mean, I like the couch. Don't blame me. Blame the couch.
Mac Miller was trending this morning whenever we woke up. Mac Miller, rapper from Pittsburgh, obviously no longer with us. And you put that shirt on. I was like, is that because he was trending this morning? He said, no, I just want to show off the thighs today.
Yeah. Well, I wore it last night, too. It was so gosh darn comfortable. Oh, wait. I was so goddamn comfortable.
I
was like, you know what? I'll throw it on today too. And yeah, turns out he was trending. It's a good day to have a Mac Miller shirt.
Great day to have a Mac Miller shirt. Bad weekend, though, in losses to our society. Obviously, we learned of Black Panther, Chadwick Boseman passing away. And I wasn't a big superhero movie guy, okay? So I watched the one where they all were in it. Which was that one? Avengers.
Yeah,
I watched the
War.
Avengers, the Infinity War, where they all came together. A lot of people told me that was a bad idea, okay, because I knew none of the backstories of any of them, but I saw them all go to war, and then at the end, they all kind of just disappeared. But the performance by him in that movie was unbelievable. So then I come in, I learn more about it. He played Jackie Robinson. He did all these things. And I guess whenever you listen to other actors that worked with him, he was like a Tom Brady-like. Whenever he showed up on the set, it raised everybody else's level. So the entertainment world obviously lost an absolute legend here. He's been battling with cancer for 4 years, doing jobs, doing interviews, visiting other people in the hospital to give them some inspiration. While doing all that, he passes away at the age of 43. Rest in peace to Chadwick Boseman, and thank you to your commitment to entertain people. We very much appreciate that. And your level of professionalism, I guess, was unmatched whenever people talk about him on set. Zito, I know this one hit you hard at home there. You put a video out that went massive, but it feels like this is a guy that anybody in the superhero world has the utmost respect for.
For sure. Honestly, like, it's to the point too, like, be able to do your job and go through the surgeries and all that is completely like mind-blowing.
Yeah, because he's like an incredible actor too, right? So the fact that he was able to do that while he's battling, rest in peace to Chadwick Boseman. And then in the sporting world, the first ever African-American collegiate coach to win a major championship was the title, is how it was read, in 1984. After winning 2 championships as a player for the Boston Celtics, John Thompson, former Georgetown coach, passes away at the age of 78.
I believe so.
78, I believe. This man had so many accomplishments. He became a staple of the March Madness, by the way. Anytime Georgetown was on TV, boom, this man was being talked about because of how good of a mentor he was, how good he was of a coach. He had a lot of guys get degrees and go to school all 4 years. Allen Iverson credits him for saving his life at one point. Stephen A. Smith was on TV saying that he used to come up to him and tell him what he should be doing better. It was like, this man, utmost respect from everybody that's ever met him. 3 NCAA Final Fours, 3 National Coach of the Year titles, 7 Big East Tournament championships, Coach Hall of Famers Patrick Ewing, Alonzo Mourning, Dikembe Mutombo, Allen Iverson, and many, many more. Rest in peace to John Thompson. I mean, that's a couple heavy hitters there over the weekend, big names. They say it comes in threes. I hope that's a new thing in 2020, that only these pass away. Rest in peace to them, 100% for sure. Moving forward now, the Jacksonville Jaguars down in Duval County appear to be either tanking for Trevor Lawrence or failing for Fields, old Justin Fields at Ohio State, because none of the moves they're making seem to make sense for anybody. We'll have Michael Lombardi in the second hour joining us. He is a former general manager in the NFL, and he has called David Caldwell, the GM down there, David Blaine Caldwell, because he says he's a fucking magician. He's able to avoid being fired at all costs. The interesting thing here is, just a few years ago, Doug Marrone, head coach, David Caldwell, GM, in the Jacksonville Jaguars were in the AFC Championship game against the New England Patriots, winning the AFC Championship game against New England Patriots. That was just 2017, just 3 short years ago, this Jacksonville Jaguars team, a team that had, hopes way at the beginning of the franchise inception, then kind of disappeared. Whenever we used to play down there, they had tarps covering the entire top of the stadium. It got to the point where the Jaguars were becoming a laughingstock of the NFL, I think. Then, obviously, they bring Coughlin back down there. Things are supposed to change. They get into the AFC Championship game. It's like, holy shit, are the Jacksonville Jaguars all the way back? Is this team back? And then, obviously, the crucial questioning of whether or not Blake Bortles should have taken a knee before half instead of trying to step on the gas pedal and score in the Patriots since you have them. So that was questioned. And then, automatically, right after that, the whole team went to shit. They paid Blake Bortles. Okay, then everybody else got pissed off. The defensive side of the ball, which was a lot, Calais Campbell was down there, Jalen Ramsey. You're talking about a loaded stack defense center was winning them games. They see Blake get paid. Something else happens, and the entire team just implodes right underneath Doug Marrone and David Blaine Caldwell's nose while they're there coaching through all of this and maintaining their jobs. Not only is there, 6 people left on the roster from that 2017 team, which is just 3 years ago, but the people that are gone are Pro Bowlers. Yannick Ngakoue got traded this weekend and decided to take a $6 million pay cut just to get out of there. Hey, you know what? Fuck it. I'll leave $6 million on the table. Just get me the hell out of Duval County. I'll go no matter what. Signs a franchise tag, goes off the franchise tag, $5.8 million less. I don't give a shit. And by the way, Minnesota, it's like 14 degrees there. Yeah. Like what, 1 month into the season? Mm-hmm. He's leaving Jacksonville, Florida to go to Minnesota, which, by the way, we love. Great city.
Love.
Oh, yeah. Cold as fuck. Cold as fuck.
Good lakes.
Gorgeous, though.
Gorgeous, though.
Yeah.
Great place.
Uh-huh.
But he said, I don't care. Get me out of here. Send me to the tundra. Minus $6 million. I want out. Then this morning, I would assume that Leonard Fournette woke up and he said, oh, you guys go get me the fuck out of here. And they're like, okay, we'll try to trade you. We'll try to trade you. Doug Marrone came out and said we put him on the trading block and they couldn't get a 5th rounder, couldn't get a 6th rounder. We couldn't get anything. So they just cut his ass. So now all your big names, all your first-round draft pick, everything from 2017 that had your team, everybody's gone except for the head coach and the GM that have been a part of the entire thing. It's amazing what they've been doing down there. And let's not forget they paid Nick Foles $80 million. Yeah. He plays a couple games, breaks his shoulder, gets healthy again. They say, get the fuck out of here. We got Bud Light fantasy football quarterback Gardner Minshew. It's going to start here. I mean, if you're a Jaguars fan, I understand that you can spin the narrative that, oh, these guys are bad in the locker room. Okay, these guys are not the culture that we're trying to build or whatever. But that culture was in the AFC Championship game just a few years ago. Maybe the culture you're trying to build isn't the right fucking one if that's not what's happening. I mean, this is a very interesting. If you're a fan of the Jaguars, which I'm assuming there isn't many, a couple of their games are in London every single year anyways. I mean, who knows? And I like that Khan family. I mean, I saw that guy's yacht whenever they did like a 24-hour thing over there. I like what they were doing with the pool party, the paradise and everything like that. I just think if I'm a Jaguars fan, I'm like, damn it, can we be good and just stay good, or are we going to try to quit? And this does feel like a team. And Gardner Minshew might be very similar to Ryan Fitzpatrick. We don't know. Ryan Fitzpatrick was on the team last year that everybody says was tanking. But when you got Ryan Fitzpatrick, what aren't you going to do?
Lose ball games.
You're not going to fucking be able to lose every game because Ryan Fitzpatrick, with the brain of a Harvard man and the heart of a
plumber,
will run his face into a fan and get you some wins. Is Gardner Minshew the same type of guy? Is Gardner Minshew going to be the problem? Why they can't lose every single game? Because it sure feels like they're trying to do that. In the NFL, players don't ever try to tank. Players are trying to get paid as much as possible. I was on a team that everybody said was tanking for a guy named Andrew Luck. The players were not involved in that because the players don't want to put shit on film because they put shit on film. They don't make money doing what they're doing at the highest level. But boy, it does feel like a front office can make some decision. Oh, you're good at football? Get the fuck out. See ya. You were a first-round draft pick. You didn't play as good. Then you went and did like some meeting out in the woods in Wyoming, came back, got good again. Get the fuck out of here, Leonard Fournette. I mean, it is very interesting what they got going on down there in Duval.
It's going to be hard for them to say that they aren't tanking too. Like that tank, I believe the tank started when they took that knee with 2 minutes left against the Patriots when they were up 10. It probably started then.
Too fucking good. We got to get out of here.
And it probably cursed them. But if they say they're not taking, that's a lie because why would you not keep Leonard Fournette? He's making like $4 million on the last year of his rookie contract. So he either like saw the trade yesterday and was like, no, this is bullshit. Get me out of here. And maybe they were like, he's going to be too much for the locker room this year, or they're just tanking and he might have actually potentially won them some games.
What if he walked into team meeting? Who was that? Jamie Collins did that up for New England.
Yeah, before he got moved to the Browns.
The story goes that he walked into the team meeting room and said something about getting paid or something like that. And the next day he was traded to the Cleveland Browns.
See ya.
The Bill Belichick was like, oh, is that right? You want to get okay? And then he's been brought back since then.
Oh, yeah, and now he's gone again.
So, by the way, it was like a punishment. Like, all right, go to fucking Cleveland then. All right, we'll bring you back. Okay, you'll jump over a long snapper, by the way, and block an extra point against the Indianapolis Colts and scare the shit out of the person holding the field goal, by the way. That was one of the most athletic things I've ever seen. But what if Leonard Fournette walked in there and said something like, do we want to stink? And Doug Marrone's like, oh, they're on to us. Get him out of here. Move him. Boy, we got to move him. In about 16 minutes, we'll talk to Maurice Jones-Drew about that because it feels like they're trying to suck. And I was watching Inside Training Camp on NFL Network, which I don't think in any other year I would look forward to watching. But I've been watching Inside Training Camp there on NFL Network, and they had Gardner Minshew warming up with Skycam Glennon right next to him. And all that. I didn't know a single motherfucker that was catching the balls for him. I didn't know a single. I was like trying to look. I was like, well, there's Mike Glennon. I see him. I don't know anybody else on that team. I don't know how. Don't you have to spend a certain amount of money on a salary cap too? Like they have to spend a certain amount of money. Who are they spending money on?
Joe Schobert.
Yeah.
Joe Sherbert. By the way, good player.
Yeah.
Joe
Oh,
Sherbert,
yeah.
friend of the show.
Unbelievable.
Is he going to play tight end for him as well? Maybe running back. We will find out. He's a great athlete, that guy. Linebacker from the Browns that got signed by the Jags.
I actually saw, I believe Andrew Brandt tweeted out this morning, previous GM's executive money guy, that there's like this illusion that the Jags are saving or potentially going to spend this. He said no, they just every single year just save this cap space and don't pay anybody.
There's a rule, though. I think there's a rule in the CBA. They have to spend a certain amount of money because I don't know how they're doing it. Gardner Minshew, I do believe, does have the Fitzpatrick gene, though.
Yeah.
Like, I think he's going to win. I think he's going to win you games, whether you like it or not. So it's amazing to me that they didn't ship him out of town. Like,
Without the Harvard part.
Yeah, well, they say he is very, 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 very intelligent.
He started at Alabama, too. Alabama, very good education down there.
Jesus, Connor.
Well, I'm serious. That's a great school.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody's thinking, you know what, Alabama, let's go to that academic institution.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind. By the way, I would love to go to Alabama. I've been down there before. Beautiful place. Nick Saban has a street down there. I think Bear Bryant has a street down there. I mean, that is where legends walk.
Yeah.
But I don't know if anybody from Alabama is saying, I went to Alabama, I'm a fucking genius. I don't think that's like a thing that they're hanging up. No offense, by the way. I went to West Virginia, the Harvard of West Virginia. And if I was to actually go to a real place, I don't have a degree from there. I would take my high school diploma because of how bad the rep was at West Virginia whenever I graduated.
There is a story about a kid who got into every single Ivy League school. And you know what school he picked instead of going to any of those? Alabama.
Was he a football player?
True story. Not a football player. Strictly for academics.
Well, maybe I need to respect Alabama a little bit more because I thought Florida was the highest public
Ivy.
Oh, yeah, it's right, ninth, right?
Yeah, eighth or something like that. Yeah, interesting.
Pretty good.
But anyways, I don't think Alabama says that old buddy's smart because I think there's been a lot of people that have come through Alabama that does, not like brainiacs, no offense.
Yeah.
But he went with that Mike Leach, who's supposed to be an incredibly deep thinker, and I assume those two got along very well.
Twitter.
And by the way, Gardner Minshew, a lot more athletic than I think anybody's given him credit for. But I mean, they're just cutting everybody around him. So even if Gardner Minshew was, a fourth, fifth round pick? I forget what he was. Sixth round pick.
Yeah.
Even if Gardner Minshew is supposed to be a first round pick and not a fifth round pick, whatever he was, why would you? It feels like you're getting rid of everybody around him. So you're not even setting him up for success as if he was originally. So it's like the question of Gardner Minshew is like, well, he's much better than where he was drafted. It's like, okay, sounds good. But I think you're only as good as the situation you're in. And it feels like the Jacksonville Jaguars are trying to make that situation as terrible as fucking possible for the guy.
Yeah, it seems like they're just making him the sacrificial lamb.
Yeah.
Because leading up to this, they made it like, oh, it's his job. That's why we got rid of all these other guys. We want him to prove himself, going into the future. And I mean, they might go 0-16.
Hey, I don't know if they will, though, because of Gardner Minshew.
Right.
But I'm intrigued to see what they're doing down there. I don't know how, and I can't wait to talk to Michael Lombardi in the second hour about David Blaine Caldwell and what else he's thinking there, because I don't know how the same coaches, same GM, in the same building that got 25% of the NFLPA's complaints. The Jacksonville Jaguars were the cause of 25% of the complaints from the NFLPA's players. So one team took up 25%. The other 31 teams had the other 75%. Just very interesting what they're doing down there. I don't know how you turn around, but for the AFC South, they're pumped about it. Unless Gardner Minshew is just going to put that whole fucking team on his back, which, hey,
He might.
Maybe.
He might down there in Duval.
Marone also burying Fournette. Is it common for a coach to come out and be like, yeah, well, we tried to do everything, but
people wouldn't even give us a contemporary pick of the second draft.
wanted a bag of balls.
I mean, we couldn't get nothing. Yeah, I mean, this is just like the Jalen Ramsey situation, right? Whenever they got rid of Jalen, it was very obvious that they hated him too.
I think he gets picked up pretty quickly, though, right?
It's cheap, right? Probably not going to be paid that much.
When you get cut, do you still he was supposed to make $4.5 million or something like
Nothing.
this? Yeah, so they restructure the deal.
Yeah, unless it was guaranteed, it would have to be a new deal. Yeah, it'd have to
deal.
be a brand new deal. Just like that's how the Cam Newton thing happened, right? 86 days he's unemployed. Somehow, some way, Cam Newton was unemployed for 86 days. He gets a brand new deal worth $1 million, up to $7.5 million in incentives. And it feels like, if you just watch one video from their practice up there, Cam Newton's having the time of his life with Bill Belichick and Josh McDaniels. This place that is supposed to be absolutely miserable to play football at has all of a sudden became fucking great timeville. It's unbelievable to me. It is unbelievable to me how quickly Bill Belichick and Cam Newton have seemed to come together. Cam Newton's still posting on Instagram. Cam Newton's having a good time. Bill Belichick is saying, I'm not coming out and naming a starter, okay? He, Matt Nagy, basically every other coach in the NFL that doesn't have a guy that's getting paid like $70 million to play quarterback won't name a starter. But there's pictures of Belichick like twirling his whistle next to Cam Newton. There's Cam Newton dancing. And there was fucking idiots in Boston that were saying these two weren't going to get along. Cam Newton's not going to be the starter. Maybe he'll get cut and get sent out of town. Now it just feels like everything that was thought about could potentially come true between those two is. And I hate seeing it because this is potentially another, 5-10 years of just them doing whatever the hell they want to do up there.
Especially because of all the cap space we have next year. So if we do want to re-sign Cam, we can. But also, is this all just because of the media's perception that New England's been painted this way and Belichick's been painted this way?
Well, the players, a lot of players have come out and said, like, hey, we do not have fun up there.
Yeah, and Lane Johnson buried the Patriots after they won the Super Bowl.
Maybe it was Tom's fault.
See, I think Tom was the one that's all serious and strict, and now everyone down in Tampa is so impressed with him, because he has a workout.
So you're saying that the Patriot way was Tom Brady then?
Yeah, Bill was.
That's what you just said.
Bill,
no, that's what you just said.
The
Patriot way was Tom Brady.
I'm saying the part of the Patriot way that wasn't fun, that all the players talked about as being negative, was from Brady because he couldn't take anything unserious, if that makes sense.
You know what I
can't take a joke.
You know
exactly.
You know what I think potentially happened? This is what happened. I assume they started doing things and they started having success. So then they probably, locked in a little bit more, and then they got set in a certain way. And it was like, hey, this is how we win here. Okay, you come in here, you're pissed. We're watching film. We're not having fun. We're working all day. And then they had success doing that. So everybody was like, well, we can't change because we've had success doing that. Then Tom leaves. And it's like, okay, we can hit the reset button. And all the shit maybe for the last 10 years that we think have maybe gotten a little bit out of control, we won a lot. Let's hit the reset button and redo this thing. And I tell you what, if he can establish and reimagine his coaching style and building, then there's no question about he's the greatest coach of all time. Not that he isn't already, but this fucking guy right here.
Oh, man.
So damn smart.
Sith Lord.
Granted, he had a dog do his draft this year, but this guy, so damn smart. And I feel like Cam Newton is just like the perfect depiction of like Bill Belichick and Cam Newton. For good reason, everybody's like, they're not going to get along. And then now you're looking at film, it's like, do they care about the same thing? Do they want to win?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Let's fucking go.
Well, and also naturally, not in all relationships, but some relationships, when you're together that long, things just become fucking miserable.
Stale.
And now they're separated and they found new wives and stuff like that, and things are nice.
It's gorgeous.
Things are happy.
I'm happy.
This is the honeymoon phase that they're in
we'll
right now.
see how much Cam's dancing and smiling after they start 0-1 or 0-2.
We'll
see then. We'll see how rainbow and gumdrops it is anyway.
You must forget that we start off 2-2 like every single year.
The Patriots always start
With
slow.
Tom.
The Patriots always start slow. That is
last year we started 8-0 and we didn't even make it past the first round of the playoffs
because they stunk on offense.
Yeah, you guys
finished 4-4. I'd rather start 0-2 and then finish.
Oh yeah, you say that now.
12-2.
You wait till you're 0-2.
Well, the world does collapse outside of New England, I think, when New England does bad. New England, notorious. I think Feidelberg had an entire video that first night after the Kansas City Chiefs blew him out. He was standing next to them. He said, I'll see all y'all fuckers in February or something like that. It was like New England understands that they potentially stink early, but will Cam Newton be able to understand it? This is a new Cam Newton, too. Hey, I think Cam is I love that matchup up there.
It's awesome.
It's fucking annoying for everybody in the AFC. It has to be the most annoying shit ever. It is, by the way. But they're going to be on a run for the next few years.
I'm personally kind of worried because these videos come out of Cam dancing during. I don't think he's stretching enough. I'm pretty sure there's going to be like a soft tissue issue, probably maybe week 1, week 2.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And I'll come back to that video where he wasn't stretching.
All right, let's get to a break. We got to call MJD. Do we have to go to a break? Good question. We do not. But if I have to piss, we should set the tone that there is a break.
For sure.
Boom.
We should do that.
Well, there will be next week.
We appreciate everybody watching right now. We're up to 15,000 concurrents. Really appreciate that. Yeah! Be a friend, tell a friend. We'll be here every day, 12 to 3. Great guests, good bullshit. Hopefully some sports conversations. And football is back, by the way. There's a game on Saturday night that I assume the Big Ten fans were looking at like, are we fucking serious right now? These people can play, we can't. What are we doing here? That's why the Big Ten allegedly has decided to pivot and change course. Will they be back? Who knows? On the other side, MJD, Maurice Jones-Drew, stud running back from the Jacksonville Jaguars, to talk to us about Are Jaguars tanking MJD? They stink down there. What's going on? Is Gardner Minshew the next Ryan Fitzpatrick? I got questions, MJD. We'll hear his answers on the other side. This is the Pat McAfee Show.
This is Remember the Titans.
How's it going? My name is Pat McAfee. I do a lot of things. Today I am a professional analyst getting ready for the Thursday Night Football opener in beautiful Nippert Stadium with the Cincinnati Bearcats here at Higher Ground. This secluded world. Good squad, good place. Excited for this morning practice. I'm obviously unbiased, but I'm pulling hard for Cincinnati to do well on Thursday night.
I like to say, all in clipboard quarterback, man. This is awesome. And we got hopefully a future NFL kicker. Let's see what you got. Come on.
This is great for the brand. This guy's an athlete. Athlete. Athlete.
Hey, let's go. Let's go. Hey, goodness. They say kickers are athletes. We'll find out. Let's go. Pull it up. Heads up. Heads up. Hey, I appreciate that. Thank you so much for hospitality. Have a great day. Let's go get
Going in, I'ma close the case. I can't wait no more, man. I gotta blow today. I'ma blow today. I ain't hearing what they say. Need a blue face. I've been caring about the race. I've been trying to eat. I need more than just a taste. Now they trying to talk. Oh no, they should know their place. Man, I'm ballin'. This ain't cap, baby. Now I feel like calling. From the O, but I got the music poppin'. All the time, man, it started to get obnoxious. Now I gotta drive down, feeling nauseous. Gotta drive top down, then I hop out. I've been feeling hot now.
Thank you.
Okay,
so
let's
much.
go. Yeah,
You got it.
appreciate
Yeah,
it.
thank you. This has been so cool to see. Whenever we were driving out here into the sticks, my boys and I from Indianapolis, we were told by Coach Fickle it was a 40-minute drive from where we live. Absolute lie, hour and a half out here. But as we were getting out here, we didn't know what we were going to show up to. And this is such a cool scene here. I remember whenever I was in college, we won a lot of games, beat Cincinnati a couple times. It was a great day. But I remember my boys, right? Like I still am in touch with them every single day, every single week. We had this moment where we went from boys to become men. And you guys were a really young team last year, but got to experience a lot of wins. Like now the expectation level are high. And I can't wait to talk you all up on Thursday night against UCLA. UCLA refused to respond to my tweet. So I am a Bearcat fan on that opening night, and I cannot wait to watch you guys dominate. And I think this is such a cool thing. Coach, I can't thank you enough for your hospitality. I got a bunch of swag from you guys, too. This has been a cool day. Enjoy this, though. This doesn't happen a lot. Even when you get into the NFL, it's not like college. It's not like your boys. It's not like this. It's a whole different world that you'll remember forever. And I was honored to be here to watch you today, and I can't wait to watch you guys go win the thing on Thursday night and then throughout the rest of the season. Thank you so much. Cheers, boys. Thank you. One, two, three. Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show here. Monday, August 31st. I believe we talked about NFL coaches not publicly naming starting QBs anymore. Zito. We have learned that if you're watching this show on a phone sideways, the comments section kind of cucks our big league thing here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But we have learned that if you watch it any other way, literally any other way, it won't go over top of that. So, I mean, decisions have to be made there. Now, should we move that to this side? It's kind of weird. I don't know. It's kind of weird.
That's different. Like over there.
I don't know. But over here, if the people are looking at their phones sideways, you got old boner garage popping up right in front of all of it. You know,
Who does it feel better to point to?
Well, it feels better to just go like this right here.
There's your
See
answer.
that right hand? Oh,
I feel like you read left to right, too. I feel like it'd be weird over here.
Yeah. Well, I think everybody does it on this side. So we apologize for that happening. Maurice Jones-Drew, I believe, is going to be joining our Zoom now. Yep. Ladies and gentlemen, stud. Hold on. I got something I got to hit. Here, hold on. I was sent this by the bookers. Maurice Jones-Drew is an NFL Network analyst, and you can follow him on Twitter at MJD, one of the best handles of all time. NFL Network's Inside Training Camp live coverage airs daily starting at 1 p.m. Eastern time. It's a good time. We got a Pro Bowler, absolute stud, all-pro, and the NFL rush yards leader in the year 2011. From the Jacksonville Jaguars most of his career, ladies and gentlemen, Maurice Jones-Drew. Let's go, MJD!
What's up, Pat?
Hey. What's up with fucking Duval County, MJ? Hey, listen, as a guy whose name is synonymous with the franchise, there's only a few of you. I think you, Fred Taylor, I believe Mark Brunell maybe back in the day. I think there's only a few. Brant Boyer, who's a special teams stud, who's now the special teams guy for the Jets. There's only a few names synonymous with the Jacksonville Jaguars. So when you wake up and see everything that's going on down there, what are your initial thoughts?
I mean, literally, I woke up. I woke up at 7:15 West Coast time. My phone's blowing up. I got all these text messages. What's going on? And I thought something had happened. I thought something crazy had happened. So I instantly go on Instagram and Twitter to kind of see what happened. I'm like, it doesn't make sense to me, right? I think when you look at, I guess the Jags are trying to get rid of the Coughlin era, whatever they had there. But how do you continue to let? Well, let me start this. Let me say this, because I am a little flustered right now.
That's all right. Take your time. Listen, we're sounding
running backs do matter, right? Running backs are people too.
I agree.
I just want to make sure I put that out there.
I agree.
To me, it's just like you have this philosophy that you want to win, you want to throw the ball, you want to do all this, yet he's one of your most talented players on that team. How do you win without talented players? Now, we've had our battles back and forth, right? We've the Colts, Jaguars. Imagine playing a game without Reggie Wayne and Marvin Harrison because they don't fit your system.
It makes no sense, MJ. There's a lot of things that make no sense because just 3 years ago, 2017, AFC Championship game with a lot of that roster, by the way, now gone. Get out of here. Not our culture, not our system. It's like, well, it was your culture and your system when you had the most success you had in a long time. Now you got to eliminate everybody but from the team, basically. Are they just trying to build something new? How have they been able to maintain their jobs through this entire thing? I mean, what is the whole deal down there?
Again, I'm on the West Coast now. I'm not in it like I used to be. But I'll say this: they've drafted well over the last couple of years. The problem is they've had these high draft picks, and then somehow, some way, they trade them away for more draft picks. Like, you can't win with draft picks. You're going to win with players, guys that you get on second-year deals. Guys that you get out of free agency that impact the game. And they've had an issue right now with trading Jalen Ramsey away, Dante Fowler, Yannick Ngakoue. Cutting Leonard Fournette, right? Trying to trade him away. You cut him. It's just like, why? Why not keep him and try to help unless you're tanking? And then, I've heard the Zoom call. With Doug Marrone, who was like, I'm not tanking. I'm trying to figure this out. So for me, it's just like, I hope that the first-round picks of the last couple years that are still there, Taven Bryan, Josh Allen, they have the two from this year. I hope those guys are your type of players because those are really good players that you have to find a way to get them to their second and third contracts. Another guy they let go was Allen Robinson.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Think about what he did in Chicago. He was a baller for the Jaguars. You let him go into free agency because he tears his ACL. He gets paid by the Chicago Bears and has gone on to have a great career. So you have to make sure when you're making those decisions that they're the right decisions. Like, you can't keep trading and signing guys that don't produce on the field.
I was a part of a team that everybody outside of our locker room was saying we were tanking, right? Everybody was like, "This team."
You guys were, though. You're lying. Let's be honest.
Hey, I was punting the
suck for
fucking
luck.
shit out of that ball. I was.
You were. And listen, you were doing your job. But let's be honest.
Okay. Well, hey, listen. That's what I was about to say, though. Players will never tank. Okay, players do not want to put bad stuff on film. Players want to make as much money as possible. Them not playing well is not good for them as a business, which is ultimately what the NFL is for players. This is our job. This is our professions. Yes, it's a game, but this is how you make a living. So you can't play terribly. But boy, it feels like, now granted, we had the same conversation about the Dolphins last year, and B-Flow and Fitzpatrick wouldn't let them lose outright. The Cincinnati Bengals, who weren't trying to take, somehow figured out how to lose better than everybody else. But this feels like a lot of decisions are being made in an attempt to potentially reestablish their team with a guy like, well, I don't know, Big Fabio, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, something like that. Does it feel like that conversation is obviously heading into full steam right now?
No, it definitely does, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like that, I go back to what the Spurs did when they got Tim Duncan. Like, let's be honest, everyone knew the Spurs were taking him, and Popovich was like, "Listen, Tim Duncan is one of the best power forward centers in the game. Like, yes, we're trying to get him. Okay, they get him, then they go on a tear." And I became a big Spurs fan through that time. They added Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker, and other pieces, but Tim Duncan was that piece they're looking for. So if Trevor Lawrence is the guy that you're looking for, just say it. Like, don't tell me we're not tanking.
I don't know they're allowed
to. You keep making these moves. I think that's what makes the fan base so frustrated. Like, you can't trade away Jalen Ramsey, who I call the games now for the Los Angeles Rams, is probably the best corner in the NFL. And they have the best defensive Aaron Donald or rusher and coverage guy and Jalen Ramsey tandem in the league. You can't tell me that guy isn't good enough to play for your team.
His altercations on the sideline, I believe, is why the Jacksonville Jaguars were able to PR spin zone it. They were able to spin it like, oh, this guy isn't good for our locker room. But now Calais Campbell gets traded out of there. Everybody says he's a great leader in the locker room. Like, everywhere he's been, people are like, this guy's a good leader in the locker room. Now Yannick Ngakoue wants the hell out of there. Leonard Fournette's cut. What are they trying to do? And how do they keep their jobs down there? Is it just because Shad Khan's just like, hey, I got a pool to bed, I got a yacht here, I got a team over here, and he doesn't even know what's going on? Like, does he even know what they're doing?
I'll say this. Shad Khan definitely is involved. I think right now that he's trying to give them more time. Like, he feels like everyone deserves a second chance. And so I'm about to tell you. So he feels like everyone deserves a second chance. And I think they had a great run with a bunch of personalities. It didn't work out. So now they're trying to do it the opposite way. The problem is it's going to take you 4 or 5 years to get back to where you were to that AFC Championship type of talent if you can get there. Because let's remember, the Jaguars were really healthy. Blake Bortles was playing lights out when they did it, and that defense was number one in the league. How do you get back to that in the next 3 or 4 years when you continually are trading guys away and letting guys go? I don't know. Hopefully it works out, though, because I'm always going to be a Jags fan. No matter what, I feel the Jags are going to go 16-0. That's just who I am.
No, you don't. Yeah. No, you don't. Come on. No, you don't.
Come on.
Every time I put it out there, I put 16-0. Just like I done the same for the Raiders, who I played for like 6 months. And then the same for the Rams, who I work for currently. Those 3 teams will go 16-0, especially, and if they don't play each other, they'll go 15-0-1 if they play each other.
Yeah, because they'll tie, obviously.
Right. You see what I'm saying? And then the Super Bowl should be the Rams versus either the Jags or the Raiders. And then I get a ring regardless. You see what I'm going with that?
Smart. I see what you're doing there. It's smart.
I just hope that there's more to what we're seeing.
Nah, they stink.
They
stink. They stink.
When I hear Doug Marrone say, well, he doesn't fit our philosophy, my mind is like, well, who does? Because I've seen Leonard Fournette catch the ball 60 catches last year. So if you're trying to throw the ball, he could do that. He's your best running back with the ball in his hands.
And I don't want to say he's cheap, but he's for what he does. And also,
he's a rookie.
And back in the day, he didn't perform as well as everybody thought he was going to. Remember, there's some stuff. He went out and did like a peace pipe out in Wyoming, came back, eliminated, and he became like his best self. And now it's like, get him out of here. Hey, we finally got the best Leonard Fournette we could possibly have. Let's get him the hell out of here.
Listen, man, I woke up this morning more like so many emotions. You know, I try not to be emotional when it comes to business like this, but, you know, being around that organization, seeing them at their highest with all those guys, and then now seeing all those guys gone, it's like, dang, like, are we really, like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
And so all I could do is sit back. I mean, I've been getting a lot of this stuff on Twitter and Instagram. But at the end of the day, it's like, look, all we could do as fans is sit back and, you still got Josh Allen. You have Gardner Minshew, who's a character and a really good football player. You have some really good young receivers. I mean, we just got to hope that he can pull magic out of the hat, pull the rabbit out of the hat and make it work, babe. Like, I'm all for it. If that's what it takes, I'm still salty, but I want the Jags to win. So.
Oh, man, that was an incredible little run you went on there. We still got,
I can name some guys. You want me to name them?
I don't know if you can
okay,
anymore.
You got my Bruin, Miles Jack.
Hey, Miles Jack's still there. Okay.
You got Allen, Josh Allen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We got DJ Chark.
Oh, yeah.
DJ Chark. We still got DJ Chark. Tyler Eifert, if he stays healthy.
Oh, yeah, the tight end.
We got Tyler Eifert. Keep going.
Josh Lambo, the kicker. Hey.
Josh Lambo. Hey, people are, punters are people too.
Joe Sherbert, friend of the show.
Joe Sherbert.
Joe Sherbert. So we got some pieces. We just got to put it all together. I'm just giving you the optimism that I'm feeling. It's flowing now. So it is what it is. Hopefully it works out.
Hey, what's the team that you think is going to surprise this year? I really think this Patriots team. By the way, the Patriots have somehow painted themselves into a corner of not being good. So whenever they're good, all of a sudden, because Bill Belichick's the best coach in the history of coaches, it's going to be like, oh, nobody knew they were going to be good. It's like, this team is so annoying how good they are all the time.
I love the Patriot mantra is everyone's against us. And they find a way every year. If it's, we don't have Tom Brady, we're going to go with Stidham. And the whole time they're trying to get Cam for like 3 months. And then they get Cam in June. It's like, oh, here we go. The Patriots are going to be really good. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be, your team, where you're from is going to be a tough team as well because you get Big Ben back. Hopefully Connor can stay healthy. Juju needs to step his game up as being the number one guy. But, I mean, they got a lot of young receivers there as well. And with that defense, it's going to be crazy.
Can I stop you there?
Yeah.
Pittsburgh Steelers are my team. They could have paid me. They chose not to. So
Sounds like bitches.
Look, listen.
Money's thicker than blood, for sure.
Look, I completely agree. I went to Oakland for 6 months to go back home. That's all. I mean, I just went there for 6 months, dabbled my foot in the water, then they decided I wasn't good enough to play, and I retired. But
Tomlin and I had a pretty good relationship. He was the reason why I got drafted, to be honest, because I had a workout at West Virginia. I wasn't invited to the combine, so my senior workout was like a massive day, and it was happening in the stadium, and the workouts were up in the indoor facility, and it was cold as hell, right? It was cold as hell. So they're like, hey, go down. Do you want to run? I was like, no, I don't want to run. Do you want to lift? I'm like, no. They're like, well, people might not watch you kick then if you don't do anything else. It's like, oh, I just want to be fresh for the kicking or whatever. So as people are running 40s, I'm like warming up, and I'm just launching footballs into the roof. Boom! Like just trying to bang these things in the roof of our indoor facility as hard as I can, right?
Yeah.
Then they're like, all right, Pat, go down the field or whatever. And I'm sitting down there for like 15 minutes. And the real question is like, will any scouts come down to the field to watch me kick, right? So literally I'm down there 15 minutes. I'm like, fuck. Like nobody's going to come. I should have just ran. I should have did the lifting thing. I should have done the whole thing. And then Tomlin comes walking down in front, and it's Tomlin and like 15 scouts or whatever. And Tomlin puts me through an entire workout. It was like him putting me through a workout and everything. And I like turned around. I was like, you're so nice, man. He was like, Bill Stewart gave me my first job. So Bill Stewart was our coach at the time. He gave me my first job. Bill Stewart says he likes you. And I think his exact words were, any motherfucker that kick a 51-yarder in Heinz Field should be in the NFL. And I was like, oh, I appreciate that, man. So he worked me out. So we had this entire relationship throughout my entire career. And it got a little bit later in my career, whatever, and we would talk before every game. And he was like, hey, I'm going to get your ass when you're old and cheap. I'm going to bring you back home. I want to let you know that. And I said, I ain't never going to be cheap, and I'm actually retiring after this year, so fucking take a hike. But was it nice going back home? Was it nice going back home to play in Oakland?
Yeah, it was really expensive. It became expensive because everybody, like, you forget how many friends you have, how many everybody, they want to come. And I had I enjoyed it because, at the end of the day, I'm back at the crib. I had a place, I have a house there. Like, I just wanted to come home, play in front of my grandfather who passed away. His brother was still alive, so I wanted him to see me play in person. So I got a chance to get him on the field, which was pretty cool. And it was more of like it was like that Derek Jeter walk-off, but instead it was just in Oakland. It didn't happen at every other stadium around where I went, but it just in Oakland, you know what I mean? So it was cool.
It was
kind of like.
Are the Raiders fans going to stick with them through Vegas, you think, or they get mad?
Oh, Oh yes, I mean you have to remember half of the Oakland Raider fans were from Los Angeles, anyways, right? Now there's some that are upset. Don't get me wrong. I took it personal because when I was practicing there, they had dudes from San Antonio, Vegas coming in talking like it was crazy. But at the end of the day, like I lived near Mark Davis, and we have some similar acquaintances or friends, you may say. And I understood, like, look, this is a money play. Like you said, this is a business. And if Oakland wasn't willing to raise or help to fix that Coliseum, which isn't the best, I played in that in 2000 in high school in a 2002 championship high school football game. Wow. And it was the same stadium in 2014. It was like, all right, I got to go to where the money is. And so Vegas put up the money. I actually got a chance to go. I drove down there on a day trip just to go see the stadium. Cool. It's pretty dope. Yeah, it's a dope stadium. So
the thing looks insane from the aerial shot. I can't believe they got it done. I can't believe they got SoFi Stadium done there in Los Angeles. Have you seen that, the inside of that as well?
Yeah, I've been in there twice. That is bananas. I've been wondering though, like with all these stadiums, all that's going on, like you have to try to way to make some money back. I know concerts are going to happen. You're going to have different venues, but why not put a nightclub in one of these places, right? Like SoFi Stadium is literally about to be in the middle of. They're going to make this thing called Hollywood Park. There's going to be all type of stuff everywhere. Like I would put a nightclub in SoFi Stadium just. Thursday, Friday, you get a little,
income,
some extra income coming in. It's crazy. Both like these new stadiums that are coming up. I've been to Minnesota. Obviously, I played in Lucas Oil, Dallas. They're just getting bigger and crazier by the second.
Hey, Jerry has a nightclub in there, I think. I believe there's a nightclub happening in Jerry's during the games, though. Like whenever there was go-go dancers at one point I saw during warm.
I remember.
I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Hey.
They were like suspended above the air. It was insane. It was a circus in there. Jerry Jones.
So we played them the first time they opened it, that year they opened it. And I remember going in there, I'm like, I'm telling my team, like, guys, like, don't be distracted by all the craziness. Like, it's this big TV, and there's go-go dancers, cheerleaders everywhere, and people like listen, we just got to go in there and play ball. Like this, like you can't let this distract you, man. Some of them young dudes were out there like, what is this? Because you get guys that come from like middle America that don't see anything. You get guys that come from like Alabama with like these small towns, and you go to these places where there's a 50-yard TV in there.
Everybody, by the way, hey, everybody on the sidelines like this in Dallas. Everybody,
no question.
Even if you're right on the field, you're just literally looking straight up like this. I would assume that SoFi Stadium in LA is the same way.
Same way, but his is it circles the whole field.
The big thing was when you're looking up at the TV. Keep an eye on the action that's about to take your knees out. It was a big deal. People were just getting sniped on the sideline because they're just watching up there and, oh, my God, that's my side of the field. Just absolutely.
Have you seen the little – I don't know if it's on – someone made like a clip of dudes just getting ran over on the sideline. I think half of it is guys in Dallas, like those old doctors are looking up, and the guy just catches them right in the chin. Set him down. Like, bro, you're on the sideline of an NFL game. These dudes are running full speed at you. You're looking up. Like watching this guy's about to just take you out.
Yeah, something's going to happen. Won't. By the way, probably not a lot of people on the sidelines for the Jacksonville Jaguars this year, if I had to guess.
No, there'll be a couple of us there. No. We'll still be there.
I think they're trading away. They're going to trade you. They're going to trade away your records. Listen, they're going to send your records to another team.
They cannot trade me.
Yep.
Right? Like you said, you're not cheap. So to trade me, it costs a lot. All right?
Seems like they might do that.
There's a lot of stuff that goes with trading me, too. You just can't get me up out of there. You got to unroot a lot of stuff that we did in the community there.
How do you – well, by the way, appreciate you doing that. That's one of the staples of MJD, by the way, is taking care of people. How do you feel about Yannick Ngakoue saying, I'll take $6 million less to get me the hell out of here? That was a bigger statement about everything than I think anything else.
Oh, no question. And when Yannick first got in the league, we had the same agent. I said it right. And, he's I think sometimes – we try to understand people, but you don't have to understand everyone. Like it's like you said, it's a production-based business. If he's out there getting sacks, sack fumbles, strip sacks, recovering, like, okay, you're gonna be you. Just do that for me. But for someone to take $6 million less to leave a team, that tells you a lot. And that's where I think you have to do some, if it's PR or if it's like getting a private investigator to kind of go in and figure out your culture, you need to figure that out because that is a problem. Because now it's going to be hard to get free agents to go there because guess what? Jalen Ramsey's on here tweeting about like, glad you got out. Like, you're free now. like, what is all that? Like, how do we get players to want to come unless you're gonna, again, like we've done in the past, pay these dudes crazy money where they're never gonna be able to reach that expectation because of the money that they're getting.
Well, MJD, I hope you potentially get back on the field for him because the Jaguars need it. Maybe get out there and run.
Don't you wish that evil on me?
Yeah.
Don't you wish that on me, man.
Maurice Jones-Drew returning to the Jaguars 2020. The world has seen much more crazy things, ladies and gentlemen. 3-time All-Pro stud MJD. Appreciate you, man. Woo! See you later, bub. That is, hey, there's pain coming through there.
Oh, yeah.
When he's talking about it. There is not a lot of promise if you're down there in Jacksonville Jaguars fan.
I mean, Joe Schobert just signed down there. They're getting a few free agents.
It's so interesting, isn't it? Because they signed him for some pretty good money, like 30, 40 million.
He had like 140 tackles.
Yeah, like stud.
Yeah, good player.
And the Browns are paying a bunch of people, and they just let him get out of there and say, go ahead, you go down to the Jacksonville Jaguars. But aside from him, we just tried to name off the roster. You heard us try to do it. It was live on air trying to read off the roster. And I think we got, 9 names? 10 names? Yeah. Hey, but you know what, though? That team might come together. Okay?
Might.
That Jacksonville Jaguar team is being talked about as a team that's tanking. They might come together like no team has ever done in the past. They might be in that locker room looking each other eye to eye, but socially distanced apart and said, hey, nobody fucking believes in this team. But you know what we're doing down here in Duval? We're building a team around Gardner Minshew and a culture that likes to win football games, but not too many games, because if we do win too many games, we're going to blow the whole fucking thing up. Let's be successful and enjoy our ride here in Duval.
Hell yeah!
Hell yeah!
We always talk about one of the greatest things about the NFL is that every single fan base can have hope at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
That's got to be tough when you just can't.
The Jags.
Yeah.
What's that like, Fox?
I was thinking
he
during
still has
that whole time, he sounded just like me every single year with the Lions, but the Lions are actually going to do it. This is the year.
Yeah, this is the year that I think one of the best bets for over-under on NFL season wins. I think the Detroit Lions at 7 are the best over lock that you could potentially have.
Hammer it.
I really do believe you hammer that at FanDuel. I think you do.
Really?
Last year, 10 fucking games, dude. 10 games they were in the lead in the fourth quarter.
10.
Yeah. 10 of them.
With a quarterback with a broken freaking back.
Yeah, and a guy named Joe Plow.
John Blau.
Joe Plow.
Joey Plow.
His name's Joe Plow.
Yeah, Joe Blau. I remember him. He's a pretty good player.
Remember who performed at halftime at Thanksgiving up there?
Dallas.
Well, yeah, you get it. But he had a broken fucking back, and they had Joe Blau play, and they almost won that game against the Cowboys last
year. Do they get anybody to block for Stafford?
No, well, we're not really worried about that. Yeah, they go, what's his face?
About that. Yeah.
Oh, we're not worried about.
We got Decker still.
He's
in
Los Angeles Chargers.
Yikes. No, I thought they signed a big offensive line.
They actually lost one of their offensive linemen. He went to Green Bay.
Oh, that was the
so I mean, their quarterback broke his back, and then to help him out, they decided to let the guys who blocked
the offense wasn't the problem, though. It was the defense, but the defense is going to be right there.
They got Big
now.
V from Philly. Vite, I can't say.
Michael Lombardi will join us in the second hour. He wrote an article saying that Matt Stafford, best quarterback in the NFC North.
Oh.
He said it with a straight face, too. He typed it out and hit send, and now it's getting headlined.
He hates
Rodgers. Suck it.
Hey, stats-wise, he was last year.
Yep.
What's that?
Stats-wise, Stafford through 8 games was the best quarterback in the NFL.
I mean, listen, I'm a Matt Stafford guy, okay? He chugged that beer faster than anybody else. We were at a wedding with him. He's an incredibly cool guy. That's Aaron Rodgers, dude.
Aaron
freaking Rodgers, bro. You see him in practice in comparison to other quarterbacks in practice? Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love, other first-round
draft picks. Makes him look really, really bad.
You ever see what Aaron Rodgers does? That's why Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. No, Jordan Love's not throwing bad. It's just he's throwing next to Aaron Rodgers.
That's right. That's exactly right.
A lot of people are putting him into a bad situation because he has to throw next to Aaron Rodgers. Imagine if any kicker just had to come in and get compared to Adam Vinatieri right now or Justin Tucker. That'd be a nightmare, obviously. You'd look bad.
Yeah, but you probably still hit the net, right?
Well, no, you didn't see there was a net on the ground 6 yards in front of the other net.
Cornhole net.
Jordan Love
it was
guy.
like a trampoline that you were supposed to skip it off of into the net.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't fucking matter. He's not playing, so it doesn't matter. You know,
ever.
hopefully he gets better. But I'm done trashing Jordan Love because he takes it in the shins left and right from everybody,
He does not deserve it.
No, he doesn't deserve it.
He did not choose to be in this situation.
Exactly.
But the fact that the Packers traded up into the first round to get a guy that can't throw a ball is interesting to talk about how a team, much like the Jaguars, can be in the AFC Championship game, and then just 3 years later, the entire team is blown up. If you do recall the Packers, and this is not He does not deserve it.
Nice throw.
I mean, he's just dicking around.
He does
So he's not trying to get
deserve that.
better?
He's just nervous as hell.
They were in the NFC Championship game last year, okay? And you wouldn't have even known it with the way they drafted. You wouldn't have even fucking known it. This is the first. They traded up for that. I mean,
had Patrick Queen.
and now they're saying the Patrick Queen, linebacker from LSU, is Baby Ray over there in Baltimore. Could have helped the defense, maybe. They could have got him for sure. But instead, they draft quarterback in the first round, trade up to do that, running back in the second round. The two best players they had on their team, basically, they're trying to build anew, much like the Jaguars do in 2017. Gutekunst saw David Blaine Caldwell's blueprint and said, that's what I need to do. Let's get everybody out of here.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't dismiss the fact that we have a couple of absolute fucking buffoons in the front office. But listen, Raji is as sharp as he's been for a long time. That's what a lot of people are saying. He wins the MVP. I mean, none of this matters, okay? Because we're going to win the division and go deep into the playoffs. Maybe win a Super Bowl.
Oh,
I have a source, so don't get too carried away, that they were practicing throwing the ball away on first down when no one's open.
Smart.
So, like, throw it in the ground so it doesn't get picked up.
Smart.
Oh,
Aaron
okay.
did
So
the
that's a
same
good throw.
one. And
Very
guys
smart.
make sense.
Rodgers doesn't turn the ball over, so.
He doesn't.
He also tries to extend plays for too long and gets a hit. And he's 40 years old and still takes it.
I mean, look at that.
And by the way,
wow.
he can play another 10 years if he wants. Look at this spin.
Seed.
Zoop. And by the way,
Hellacious.
Aaron is trying to help out Jordan Love as much as possible. I wonder at what point he just looked at this guy and goes to the coaches, listen, it's my job to teach a guy to fucking throw a football.
Yeah, does he look to Jordan Love and say that? Does he look to
He knows Jordan didn't pick this decision.
Hey, watch this.
Like, this is not Jordan Love's fault. I do feel terrible that Jordan Love has been on the receiving end of some things. Mad Mel.
Yeah.
But it's not Jordan Love. It's a situation. We have to remember that when talking about things like that. That's why I don't like showing that video of him doing so poorly, because that's not his fault.
Do you think he picked up the phone from the Packers and he was like, "Oh fuck"?
No,
Packers are gonna
we saw
draft
it.
me?
We saw it happen. By the way, your first round draft pick, you should be pumped up
Yeah.
no matter what. And I think he and Aaron have obviously handled it as good as you possibly could. And I think Aaron is the right guy to have it done, because he didn't pick to be in the situation he was in with Brett Favre either. Now, granted, he fell as opposed to them trading up to do it. But, I mean, it feels like that's a relationship that's going well. But, you know, there could have been some other players that potentially got brought in the team, maybe get them past the NFC Championship. But you know what? Hey, we need to build this team in our philosophy, our culture.
Draft for the future.
Just like the Jacksonville Jaguars. Just Green Bay Packers, just like the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I mean, let's not go there. let's not jump the gun. I did have a question though.
Green Bay did not deserve that, by the way.
Like MJD was talking about Shad Khan, like giving people a second chance and everything. At what point are they just like, okay, Doug Marrone might not be worth a shit? Like, why are we just investing in this guy like he's Bill Belichick's heir apparent?
The thing that I was reminded of today that I completely forgot about, and I think a lot of people have forgotten about this about Doug Marrone because of what has happened in Jacksonville so much. He at one point was the head coach of the Buffalo Bills, 2 years there, had success with the Buffalo Bills, and then said, I'm out. He thought he could get a better job with more money elsewhere. Did not happen. Ends up going to the Jacksonville Jaguars as an assistant, then the interim head coach. Then he gets a head coaching gig. They go to the AFC Championship game. Let me go ahead and tear everything down. Now they're there. Doug Marrone at one point was the most confident head coach in the history of head coaches. I don't think I have ever heard what Doug Marrone did. I guess Bill Belichick did it. He wrote that he quit and he was going to New England to become the head coach, though. I'm just not 100% sure anybody has gone out on a limb and said, I'm the best head coach out there right now. I'm going to fucking quit this place. And then nobody else calls. That is awesome. I love that Doug Marrone has the ability to put the blinders on so much. He doesn't even listen to outside counsel on whether or not he should quit the head coaching gig that he had for the Buffalo Bills. I also like the thought of him in a team meeting the day before quitting going, all right, boys, the year didn't end as we wanted to. Obviously, there's 31 losers. There's only one winner. Hopefully, we'll be able to get back there. This offseason, I need you to commit. I need you to buy in. I need you to stay safe. I need you to stay smart. And we'll be back next spring with OTAs to build on top of this incredible run. And they're like, all right, coach, thank you. All right, coach, yeah. And then he goes next day, all right, I'm fucking quitting. I think there's a better place I could go, better team, more money, get me the hell out of here. And then just the phone is completely silent. I love that Doug Marrone does that. I love what he's currently doing. And the guy just has this gut sack that you just can't teach anymore, which is nobody means anything to me. I'm just going to keep it moving.
Yeah, apparently he went and interviewed with the Jets, and that didn't go well, and he didn't get that job, so that's how he ended up with the Jags. But did you happen to hear the nickname he gave himself in Buffalo?
No.
He nicknamed himself Saint Doug, referring to the fact that it takes 2 miracles to be canonized as a saint. He believed winning at Syracuse was one miracle, and winning at Buffalo was the other miracle.
See, that type of confidence just doesn't. it just doesn't exist anymore. You know, like that. I mean, I assume there's some people out there. There's some financial experts that we followed along with there for had this unfounded confidence in whatever. You know what I mean? Like that type of stuff. But whenever you're talking about calling yourself a saint because you win it somewhere that isn't supposed to win, and then you decide to get the hell out of there, and what was he going to do? What's 3 miracles? Because if he went to the Jets and won there, I mean, who knows what Doug Marone's doing with his life at that point? I mean, you got to be kidding me. It's unbelievable, though, what they're doing down there. I don't know how they keep their job. In the NFL, people get fired like that.
That's what I mean. Like,
because the perception of complacency is one that you just cannot have in the NFL, especially in the world that we're in now where it's like immediate gratification. I need everything right now. I guess because their fan base is so small, you can get away with it. But boy, you would think that at some point the fans would grow so alarmingly loud on social media, which is where everything starts at now, that the Jaguars and Khan would be like, all right, we tried. I mean, we gave you guys, 6 years? You guys tried to rebuild 4 times? I mean, we got no tickets sold. I mean, granted, there's a pandemic, but even the 15% we're allowed to sell aren't selling. Yeah. England doesn't even want us coming over there anymore. I mean, there has to come a point where it's like, are we trying to win or not? Now, this all might get clipped at the end. If the Jaguars go on this incredible run and this gets clipped and they're the ones that topple the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC Championship on their way, they stomp out Cam Newton and the Patriots. That's definitely possible. But, boy, it feels like they fucking stink this year.
I don't think you have to worry about that.
If they cut it, they have to cut rid of the left side of the screen because it just says Jaguars stink.
All right, what have we not talked about? We did not talk about college stars opting out of the college football season. This is a story that is going to get interesting because I believe one high-profile player did it in college football, and everybody was like, okay, it's starting to begin. And then everybody was assuming that the floodgates would open, and now we're at the point where it does feel that way. You got like 7 players right now who have opted out. You got Jamar Chase, the nation's top wide receiver, expected to be a first-round draft pick. He has opted out of this season to prepare for the NFL draft. Pitch Jalen Twyman, Memphis running back Kenneth Gainwell, who was a potential Heisman candidate last year. Shout out to Memphis. Miami Hurricanes defensive end, Purdue wide receiver Caleb Farley opts out. Then you also have Penn State linebacker Micah Parsons. You got a lot of these players opting out, which is very interesting. They're opting out so that they can sign with agents and that they can perform and not be asked to be a practice and all that other shit, and you got it. This is interesting because if these guys have success in the draft and they all get drafted high, they run fast 40s, they seem to be ahead of the curve whenever it comes to NFL philosophies and offenses and all that shit like Bosa did a couple years ago when he got hurt and decided to just sit out the rest of the year. If this is a success story for these guys, guess what's going to become the norm? This right here. So you're going to see a lot of guys that are going to forego their senior seasons in lieu of injury or anything like that in the film that they already have on film to prepare to get paid and ultimately reach their biggest dream, which is the NFL. Because you got to remember, back in the day, it was not that normal for players to sit out of their bowl games. Okay, bowl games, whenever players would sit out of the bowl games, it was considered a big deal. Like, oh, he's sitting out of the bowl game. That selfish guy doesn't want to be with his team, but he's preparing for the NFL, so it's business. That was only like 5-6 years ago. Now it has become a very regular thing. If you even have a chance of going to the NFL, you're sitting out of the bowl game. Unless it's for a national championship or some massive deal. All the other toilet bowls that happen, they are sitting out of it in lieu of injury. I think if the senior season becomes something that people start skipping out on, that'll be very intriguing. Now, this could be just because of the situation we're currently in, where maybe they don't want to have to go through all the protocols of getting tested every single day and not being able to do this, having to stay in their dorm room all by themselves while going to class, and maybe they're just opting out of that and saying, you know what, I don't want to deal with all this bullshit. I just kind of want to go do my thing. But if this works out for them, look for more players to think about it. If they maybe get an injury early, like Bosa did, maybe a hamstring, maybe a class that they're going to fail, or like just look for this to potentially become much more normal if it works for all those people. And that's a big shot, obviously, against college football to lose their stars. But the good thing is, college football, there's 700 people on every roster. There's another stud waiting for it, and that's a big deal.
Do you think most of these Big Ten guys will start doing this because they're just dicking them around back and forth with whether or not they're going to play?
The interesting thing about the Big Ten is their fans are not that loud, you know, like kind of quiet.
Yeah, sure.
Easy going.
You know, like if something gets, you know, decided upon that they don't agree with, they kind of just laissez-faire. Like just kind of let it go. Hey, no big deal.
Who cares?
Kevin Warren, you're brand new commissioner of the league or whatever, and you say you don't want to play? You're right, man.
Give the guy a chance.
We won't picket in front of your office.
No.
We won't get fire Kevin Warren trending on Twitter like 6 out of the next 7 days.
Never.
We won't have old Bob Carpenter basically redline your entire
General Bob.
Absolutely not.
We won't do that.
No.
We won't relentlessly assault people's timelines with notifications with tweets telling them that they are dead fucking wrong with the decision they made. That's not what the Big Ten fans do at all. So as I was watching that Central Arkansas Austin Peay game on Saturday night, two teams that I didn't really even know existed, couldn't tell you one player, but they were playing college football Saturday night. Lights were on. It was getting called. Golick Jr. and Matt Berry did an incredible job, by the way. I did not know how I would feel about that pairing. I thought they were incredible. Watching that game, I had so much fun. I was like, football's back, baby. My lady's sitting there. She's like, what are we watching? She was like, is this high school football? I was like, I don't know yet. Let me check. Had to Google who they were. It was not, because there was high school football on before that. Loved the action. Loved to hear the helmets banging. I was all the way back. Okay, football is coming back. If Austin Peay in Central Arkansas can do it, damn it, everybody can do it. And then I thought about our friends in the Big Ten. I thought about the fans in the Big Ten that just heard their commissioner tell them football can't happen, can't do it. Everybody on the field will get it. And then there's rumors coming out that the presidents, after voting to postpone the season, thought they were going to be heralded as fucking heroes. I mean, I thought about these Big Ten fans watching that game, potentially throwing things through the television while watching the quarterback punt for the P team. I mean, it was just... It was a wild Saturday night, and I couldn't help but just think of the Big Ten fans that are just so pissed off.
Hey, Kevin, I hope you're watching this.
Kevin Warren was just taking it on the shins, I assume. But there is real conversations, I guess, that they're trying to change course and that the Big Ten football is trying to come back. But, boy, watching them play, watching high school teams play somehow. By the way, how was high school?
And those high school games looked like they were
packed houses.
Oh, yeah.
Packed
They were
houses.
so loud.
I heard things clanging.
Yeah.
I mean,
Cowbell.
how is that happening? I mean, it's just very, very interesting. Very, very interesting.
Big Ten was catching it all Saturday night. Wait until like October or whatever when there's a full slate of ACC and SEC and Big 12 games going. Imagine how bad they're going to feel then. Like,
And a report of no COVID cases coming out. I mean, with the NFL having, 58.3 thousand was the number?
That
And they
was
were
last
all-
week. So
last
it's probably
week,
even
correct?
more than that now, yeah.
So if they see that, like, isn't there some sort of thought?
I know
like, hey,
exactly
we're going to be okay?
I know exactly what the profile picture looks like, too, of the person tweeting right now to the Big Ten about how pissed off they are. That we're talking about Austin Peay and Central Arkansas, and we're not talking about Big Ten teams that could be playing. Is Austin Peay going to have a recruiting advantage over Big Ten schools because they'll be able to say, we care about football here, unlike the Big Ten. You know the Big Ten, you know what they say to football players? Get the hell out. We don't care.
They don't care.
Every other conference can play. Cincinnati, within the same couple hours of Ohio State, they can play. Pitt, they can play. Penn State, Temple, they can play. Penn State, Ohio State, Michigan, Michigan State, Iowa, Nebraska, Northwestern, Indiana, they fucking hate football.
Nope.
Don't even think
Don't
about
even
it.
Fans don't
think
care enough.
about it.
well, I'm sure we won't bring it up every Monday.
No, we won't do that. Oh, that stinks for the Big Ten. I do feel bad. I really do. Now, granted, Mike McQuarrie at Penn State told me I was not Penn State material, and then,
Hindsight.
you can Google that. Pretty good news.
What happened?
Well, Mike McQuarrie played a pretty large role in a lot of things that happened up there.
Joe knew about something.
A little scandal up there.
So he
forget
wasn't
Joe
even
knew.
his own
But
material.
I was a Big Ten fan. Okay, always a Big Ten fan. I enjoy the pageantry of the Big Ten, especially coming to Indiana. The Big Ten championship games here all the time. Their fans pack out this city. I mean, it is very loyal cults all around the Big
It's a
Ten.
Rust Belt conference.
I respect it. This is gonna be tough. If they don't change course, which everybody's saying they're going to, this is going to be tough for the Big Ten. I mean, it is, and they know it too. And that's why Bob Carpenter's out there fucking, sirening the one if by land, two if by sea.
That's right.
We don't have football. Bob Carpenter will be seen. You know what I mean? I mean, it is a big deal over there. He is sounding the alarm through every Middlesex village and farm. What's up, dude?
Could they turn it around in 3 weeks? Like if the ACC's September 26th?
Yeah.
So if they were to come back September 6th, like next week, could they turn it around in that amount of time?
I think
Michigan's
so.
still practicing.
I think they're all
Minnesota,
practicing.
too?
They're all
I think they all
practicing.
are.
I think they're all practicing. I even after Ohio State's athletic director, Gene
Smith
came out and was like, we will not go play in any other conferences. We are following the rules, because I would assume the president was like, hey, this is what you have to say. Ryan Day or whatever was still like, we are practicing, and we will exhaust every option to play. And then even after other schools, their presidents or athletic directors came out and said, we're all on board. We're not doing it. The coaches were still like, yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens whenever boosters stop giving millions and millions of dollars because they're only here to build up sports a little bit, and they're a little pissed off that Austin P and Central Arkansas are playing, and Michigan and Ohio State are not playing. What a predicament up there in Big Ten country.
Yeah, because the report on Friday was the first week would be Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So, like, is there a chance that the things keep going well? They're like, well, maybe we just start, like, October 1st.
Well, I guess there's some rumors now that they're trying to get it by October 11th or something. Like, it depends on who you follow on Twitter. A new date will come out from the Big Ten. But, boy, they got to be pissed. But these players opting out, this is a big deal because I thought Bosa, whenever he did it, and it worked really, really well, and he had, like, a rookie MVP type season, I thought that was going to kind of open the floodgates for guys that knew they were going to be top 10 picks, maybe instead of leaving early, just a year of prep to get in there. Like, I don't know. I just thought that would happen. But now with the predicaments, it gives these guys a more excuse to be like, listen, I don't want to be a complete dick here, but you know what we're doing. I don't want to do that. I don't want to lock myself in my dorm room. I don't want to take a COVID test every day. I don't want to have to do this. I'm just going to go prep for this thing. And the coach is probably like, well, I wish we could do the same fucking thing. The Big Ten not happening is wild, dude.
How do you think
wild
falling from the graces, like the Pac-12, like no one's making fun of them for not playing the season because that's how far they've fallen.
So irrelevant.
Well, the Pac-12 isn't even.
I know.
I think the American Athletic Conference, okay, is more in topic of conversation than the Pac-12 right now. Okay, which is wild to think about, but very real. You already got Cincinnati's ranked in there. I think Memphis is ranked in there. I believe there's a couple other American Athletic Conference schools that are ranked already in the top 25, and they're playing, and they're going to make some moves. That Cincinnati team, by the way, they won 10, 11 games last year?
Yeah.
Back-to-back years, they've won a lot. They're a good team, and they're going to be on television. Okay, you know who's not going to be on television? Ohio State. So it's like, what have you done for me lately type world? Very much so. And if Cincinnati's winning a bunch of games, they're going to have to move them up to top 25 because if the Big Ten teams aren't playing. I mean, this is potentially a big, big, big fallout. Now, granted, this is obviously minus the safety precautions. We want everybody to be healthy. We don't want anybody to die
safe
from this whole thing. Stay safe.
It looks like they have been.
Well, it sure sounds like it, doesn't it?
It sure seems
They're
like
doing a pretty good job at that, sounds like.
Well,
numbers are down.
We can't do it. But it's not on the fucking thing, Connor. It's not on the thing. Connor, it's not on the thing.
Check mark.
Okay.
Only 6% was trending this weekend.
Only 6%?
That was very interesting. Hopefully the Big Ten will be able to figure it out. 12 minutes into the second hour here. I'm going to run to the bathroom. We appreciate you so much for watching. We'll do some YouTube questions on the other side. Plus, you see the fucking graphic. We got some stuff we still got to talk about. How about Dustin Johnson and John Rahm right here? Maybe the two most electrifying putts I've seen in some time. Yeah. I hit a hole-in-one on hole 17 of a putt-putt tourney against my wife. That thing rattled in. That might have been the next closest one. A 66-foot and a 44-foot putt in clutch time by Dustin Johnson and John Rahm. We'll talk about that. Roman Reigns has turned full heel with Paul Heyman and is now the Universal Champ. This has been something the big dog, his new teeth, people have been waiting on for a long time. And La Liga has cucked Man City, getting messy, which is getting messy, by the way, with the amount of money that is going to be needed. Plus, we'll dive back into the Jaguars stinking, Buccaneers working out kickers. We'll talk a little bit more about that and your questions. This is the Pat McAfee Show, Monday, August 31st. All right, breaking news as of 13 minutes ago, Jeff Schwartz is tweeting that his sources say the Big Ten presidents have decided to bring football back in October or maybe November. It could be December, possibly January as well. This is big news if true, which is totally is. Please retweet and thank you. Shout out to Jeff Schwartz being on the same exact page as us with the Big Ten. Nobody has a fucking clue what it's going to be. I don't know why Gumpy sent that into the group text. He shouldn't have, but I'm happy that nobody has a clue what's going to happen to the Big Ten. Back to the bathroom break. Everybody talked about De'Aaron King being a runner. The Tulane defense knew that. It almost felt like he was going to do it. Then he pulls up and drops a dime to Marquez Stevenson to start in an electrifying fashion, Matt.
The fridge, Pat, is back to punt. Ryan Wright.
I love this man. 6'3", 255. And he hits a bomb for the brand. The fridge saw his team was in trouble, trotted out on the field, and hit a bomb. Yeah, and I walked all the way through here, down here, sweating profusely, I'd assume. Up an elevator back here that will be loaded with humans. All the way down here, into here, kickoff. Let's call it football. Yeah. That is absolutely magical for the brand and for Dane Roy. They had 2 returners the entire first half. They put one back there. The ball goes over his head. Perfect bounce, perfect coverage. Good for the University of Houston. Sound didn't work. Back to the board. If I'm in a student section or in a weird place, maybe a remote area, and you have my mic on, ready to roll, my mic on, ready to roll, my mic on. So the sound didn't work on the field. So now we're sprinting up to the booth to get the wheel open. We don't have the sound works up there either. My makeup's all off. I thought I looked good. It's been melted off my face. We're off to a hot start in humid New Orleans. Hey, you're gonna go. I'm gonna be so winded on there. How's it going, boys? Put it brave! Oh yeah, man. Put it brave!
McMillan launches down the middle for McCluskey, and he breaks free. Jalen McCluskey, touchdown! They take the lead with 3 seconds left.
Every player on the Tulane Green Wave football team is sprinting down to the corner to celebrate with Jalen McCluskey. Flags are down. Who cares? What a tunner for McCluskey making a big play. Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show here, 20 minutes after the hour. Last night, the Denver Nuggets and the Utah Jazz. The Utah Jazz were wearing an ombre orange cream jersey. Looked very nice. and two young studs in the NBA at the age of 23 put on a show. And I guess this has been happening the entire series, and I apologize to Denver and Utah. I have not been paying attention to said series, but I guess Jamal Murray and Spida, Donovan Mitchell, have been playing the basketball very, very, very good. In this series, Donovan Mitchell has a 38.7 points per game, 54.8 field goal percentage. Jamal Murray, 34 points per game, 58% field goal percentage. I mean, these two have been lighting up, and last night it was little shot for shot at the end of the game. I happened to catch the tail end of it. It was beautiful. Jamal Murray, a guy that I do not know enough about, I think is what I just learned here. In his last 3 games, he has 142 points, and that's playoff basketball, and these aren't easy shots. Last night, he took off. He hit somebody with a juke, took off three-point land, drifting sideways like the Michael Jordan finisher that you saw him game win, and just flicked the wrist, splash. Then Spida back on the other side, splash. Then Jamal Murray again, splash. They've been battling it out, and only 4 times in the history of the NBA playoffs have players had multiple 50-point games. That's Michael Jordan, Allen Iverson, Donovan Mitchell, and Jamal Murray in this series. I mean, it is fucking absurd what they're doing, and I was so happy to catch the tail end of it last night. I know nothing about these dudes, but fucking A, it was electric basketball last night.
And you mentioned the 142 points in 3 games. Jerry West and Michael Jordan, the only 2 players to have more than that in the playoffs. And just the young talent. I mean, these guys are 23 years old. He's going to be good. They're going to be good in the playoffs for the next, the next 10, 15 years.
The good news is for Denver, you got a young guy who's a stud.
Yep.
For Utah, you got a young guy that's a stud. And it's going to sound like a ricochet shot at a team that doesn't deserve it. But the Sixers have 2 young guys that could be studs. Instead, they stink. Ladies and gentlemen, big fan of the Philadelphia 76ers, former NFL general manager Michael Lombardi.
There it is, Lombardi!
Oh, you just hit me where it hurts, bro. I mean, God. Yeah. By the way, the no carb thing. I got to get on this program. You look great. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Thank you. I also have a spray tan still that will not go away. That was the color of like an apple at one point. So I think that helps as well.
I mean, it's and I see you doing all those steps. It's remarkable. You're doing unbelievable. It's really I'm impressed. I'm trying. I mean, you're my motivation every day. There's no doubt.
Oh, well, hey, listen. If you follow my Twitter, Michael Lombardi, I don't know how long you've been on the Twitter. You were an NFL general manager, an executive, a coach. I mean, you've been doing a lot of things that probably kept you away from Twitter. How long have you been doing the Twitter, you think?
So I did the Twitter when I was at NFL Network from I think 2009 and then when I went to the Browns in 2013, I left. I had 250 followers, 250,000. Then now I've come back. It's harder to get followers than ever before. And then of course, like an idiot, I retweeted something that a fraud did, but I did.
Come on, Mike.
Can't happen, Mike. Can't happen. But Twitter has changed completely. So Twitter is I feel like I don't want to say an OG of Twitter, but I feel like Twitter was my main social media that I focused on. We're talking hours and hours of my day I was on Twitter. I used to answer every single human that tweeted me. I mean, I was always on there. You used to have to be very quick. You had to be on there. You had to be very witty. You had to be very quick. Everything in there, you had to be very engaged. Now Twitter has changed so much. It's like their algorithm, they kind of hide things. So I'm just turning into a pander machine on my Twitter. It started just the past couple days. I've been really hitting a high road, but you're going to see a lot of motivation tweets out of old Pat McAfee show here the next couple of days. And if you want to be on the Pander Party, just go ahead and hit the retweet button for that thing. We're trying to take advantage of the Twitter algorithm at the moment.
I don't understand those algorithm things. I tweet what I want. Today I was on a David Blaine Caldwell rant about the Jacksonville thing. So I just, I get on rampages and I'm just going to go. I'm not going to go political, but I'm going to go on certain things in the NFL.
Well, I'm too dumb to be political, but let's talk about David Blaine Caldwell. You, for the first time you came on this show, you actually said, I call him David Blaine Caldwell down in Jacksonville because that guy has been able to magically keep his job throughout so many poor decisions. Now, here we are 3 years after an AFC championship game where they had to lead at the half in New England, which is insane, and the entire team has been blown up. There's guys taking $5.8 million pay cuts to get out of there. Leonard Fournette gets cut today, really coming into playing his best football last year after having a peace pipe meeting out in Wyoming. What the hell is going down there? They're obviously attempting to tank. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this before.
Well, since the Khan family has owned the team in 2013, they're 38-90 as a they're a 30% winning percentage. So, and then since David Blaine Caldwell's been there, he's 40-70 as a general manager. I mean, their son's involved. Tony Khan, the son's involved. He thinks he knows, which is a big problem because when you think you know, you probably don't know, right? And so they have no real culture down there. They don't understand how to build a football team. And really, this is probably the first time Fournette's ever been cutting anything in his life. But, when they were picking 4, and your guys who ever followed me before, when they picked Fournette at 4, I said it at the time, Fournette's a deep eye tailback who needs the ball 20 to 28 times. His best carries come from 21 to 28 because he needs to wear you down. Well, the NFL doesn't play that way anymore. Right? Nobody's getting 28 carries. We're not wearing you down. We're not going 3 yards. They passed I was screaming for him to take Deshaun Watson, but they felt that Blake Bortles, who I was also killing back then, repeatedly, the Blake Meister, there's no way he was any good. Seriously. At some point, and the lesson here, Patrick,
Blake's the
is
boat.
simply this. Is you must evaluate your own team correctly. And that's where, if you were to say what's wrong with Jacksonville, they can't evaluate their own team.
Okay, so you said a lot there. The conversation about him being 40-70, is that what you said, or 30-70? What is?
I think the franchise is 38-77, and then I think David Blaine. I think he's 30. I think he might be 40-70 or something like that. But they're 30% winning percentage.
All right, I have a question. You're a former GM in the NFL. You got fired after making quite a good trade of Trent Richardson. It feels like you're one of these guys who gets into media who's not looking to get back into a general manager role as you're just burying this guy. That's probably not a normal thing amongst the GMs. Doesn't everybody try to cover for everybody in that type of bullshit?
I mean, I'm too old to worry about the political game, right? I don't really care. It's probably what's cost me my career. I didn't really play nice, And so I say what I think. I said what I thought when I worked for somebody. And it probably cost me my career because if you play nice in the NFL, you can go way up the ladder. David Blaine's proving that. I mean, you can go way up the ladder, But if you give your honest opinion, they don't want to hear that. People don't want the truth, It's a little bit like Nathan R. Jessup. A lot of people can't handle the truth. He was right, And so you just have to go along. And if you don't play nice, you get into a real situation of trouble. So. And I've never been one to hold my tongue. I've always felt like, look, you pay me for my opinion. I'm going to give you my opinion.
All right, here's a question. How does he maintain his job? Okay, because they got rid of Tom Coughlin, right? 25% of the players' complaints to the NFLPA came through Tom Coughlin's Jacksonville Jaguar building here in the last, 4 years, however long Tom Coughlin's there. How has David Caldwell kept his job? How has Doug Marrone kept his job? And by the way, I was just reminded earlier, Doug Marrone at one point was the head coach of the Buffalo Bills, did well, and said, you know what, I'm out of here, actually. This stinks. He quits, doesn't get another head coaching job. Then he becomes head coach again for the Jaguars. How do they maintain their job, you think? Is it because they have some success, or because right now it seems like there's no optimism in the building or for the team by anybody, including their fans?
Well, the owner, he allows the owner to do what he wants. He allows Tony Khan, the son, to be involved. I mean, anybody who understands anything about football and wants to run the Jacksonville Jaguars needs to have a conversation with Mr. Khan. Mr. Khan, look, we're going to change this program. We're going to build a culture. Your son's out of the building. I know he's part owner of the team, but he is not getting involved with the players. He's not having a Twitter fight. He's gone. You got to let him do something else. Okay? He's got to stay out. We're going to run this team like a professional football team. And we're going to build it through a culture. We're not going to sign a bunch of free agents and overpay them and then have our players that we draft to get mad at us for bringing players in. We're going to build a culture around a good pay structure, a good pay scale, and we're going to start with building it with a quarterback. Look, they passed Cameron Newton for Gardner Minshew. I love Gardner Minshew. It's a great story. Cam Newton's probably going to get named the starter in New England in the next day or so.
No, he's not naming a starter. Bill's not naming a starter, Mike. You know that.
No, I think he's going to name a starter, and I think I'm sure Cam Newton will be named team captain because he's captured the team, right? So, you passed on that, and so I think unless the owner's willing to change and allow you to build a culture, you've got no chance.
Mike, I was curious about this. How much of this falls at the feet of the front office, and how much of it is like Marone's fault? I mean, I feel like they're kind of giving him the reins to do whatever he wants with this, and I don't think he's really proven that he deserves that.
Marone at all. As I tweeted out, Bill Walsh used to say there are more GMs get coaches fired than actual games. And I think it's really true. Marone said he knows he's dead man walking. I mean, did you see his release when he said we tried to trade Fournette? We wanted a 6 or nobody wanted him. I mean, that's like an act of desperation. I think he knows he's in a tough spot. The Buffalo gig, he had the option to get out. He had won, so he had some cachet, right? And he thought he would get another job. And I guess he didn't think, he thought he was going to get the Jet job, and that just didn't happen. So, I think he's in a really hard place. I think all their coaches are in a hard place. They know it. They know they're going to get fired. They know they're not going to win more than 4 games. They know they're tanking for Trevor Lawrence no matter what.
That was going to be my next question because whenever I was with the Colts and we won 2-14, we won 2 out of the last 3. We're getting hot, by the way. If that season's fucking 32 games, we're probably in a Super Bowl. Let's not get crazy here, but. Everybody was talking about the tanking. You're tanking. Immediately after the season, though, Bill Polian got fired, and then Jim Caldwell promptly got fired. So both people lost their job. If this Jaguar team is tanking, now granted, we had Bill Polian on the show. Bill Polian said if we were tanking, we won 2 out of the last 3 games. We weren't doing it right or whatever. However, he wanted to talk about it, and the players never tank. But isn't this something that everybody has to buy in on, and then it could ultimately also kick everybody right in the taint at some point?
No doubt, but I mean, when you build your roster around a 6th-round pick, Gardner Minshew, and tell me he's the starting quarterback, then you say, you know what? I'm going to search for the best backup. And by the way, it's Mike Lennon. Like, I could go upstairs and ask my wife who is the better back. I mean, she could pick somebody better than Mike Lennon. Trust me on this, okay? So you're tanking. Your actions say you're tanking, right? You've got maybe 5 to 6 guys who are going to start on offense that are rookies. You played in the league. You know if you're too young, you can't win. It's too hard. It's way too hard. You can't be too old. You can't be too young. You need balance in between. And you need some continuity. They have neither. I mean, and they're not very good up front. They traded Calais Campbell. They traded Ondake. They've done all this. So where are they going? Here's what's going to happen, I think.
You are nowhere near pronouncing his name right. I mean, you are nowhere near pronouncing his name right there.
All right, here's what I think. Here's what I think is going to happen. I think this. I think that on August 31st, I think what they're going to do at the end of the year, they will clean house. And I think he will go out and try to hire a big-name college coach. Could he try to hire Dabo Swinney? Yeah, probably a really smart move if he did it. But I think they're going to give that franchise to a coach and then let him kind of build it back. Because by the end of this year, the value of the franchise and what they've done since he's owned the team has been a disaster.
Man, giving it to a college coach is interesting because that could be a big whiff. Saban at the Dolphins is another thing. Like I don't know if Dabo and Saban are anything like each other, but that'd be very interesting if they gave the college guy GM role too. That's fucking big. Go ahead, Dixon.
Michael, you've been saying for a long time that you think Trubisky is going to be the starter strictly because if Foles is a starter, Mitch, he just can't mentally come back from that. Do you still believe that?
No chance. Yeah, I mean, I still, the fact that it's even close. What did John Madden once say? When you got a lot of something, you got nothing, right? Well, if you think you have 2 quarterbacks, you don't have any.
Oh, no. Hey, if you have 2 quarterbacks, that means you have no quarterback.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, look, MVP Mitch is a very fragile guy. Obviously picked in front, that look at the top of that draft. It was Myles Garrett, and then there's a lot of misses. It went MVP Mitch, Solomon Thomas, and then Fournette. I mean, think about that, right? And this is the Patrick Mahomes, Deshaun Watson draft.
McAfee.
So that was one of those. So I think you can't go back. Like, you're not going to go back to MVP Mitch. The locker room knows, you could sell the locker room early in the season that, hey, he's here, he's going to be the guy, yada, yada, yada. But at some point, when he comes in off the bench, nobody's in the huddle saying, oh, man, Mitch is in. We're going to be fine now. Don't worry. That ain't happening, okay? That's just not going to happen.
They said he looks like a brand-new quarterback. They say he looks like a brand-new guy. Brand-new guy.
I mean, the one thing I don't believe is all these reports coming from camp. Remember this line, evaluate the evaluator. right? Like evaluate. Who's telling you that this guy's a good player? Like I couldn't even. Pat, your guys can tell you. When I said Trubisky stunk the year they went to the playoffs, I couldn't even go to Chicago. They said, like, don't come to this. I had a speaking engagement there. You're going to get mugged, because I said I would not buy Trubisky if he was on a discount rack at Feline's basement.
Jeez. What is your deal? Why are you so Is this how you were a GM, by the way? Is this exactly how you talked as a GM right here? Is this like
I mean, look, you come in my office, I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to tell you something that I think is, I'm not going to sit there and lie to you and tell, I didn't want to cut you, but this coach wanted to cut you. No, look, here's the deal. Here's the way I see it. Here's what we're going to do. Life goes on. We got to be honest with one another.
Did anybody ever come close to slapping you?
I mean, I don't think there was any need for me to get slapped. I was just being honest. I mean, it was coaching, not criticism. I mean,
I think you're slow.
You could say I'm hard on Trubisky. I'm right on Trubisky. What do you want me to do? You want me to say, he's a really nice player, Pat. He's going to do really good this year. I think his footwork is marvelous. I love his footwork. I'm just in love with it. I think he's going to be much better. And what did they say? Who said it the other day? It's just his eyes. He needs to focus his eyes. I mean, why would you want me to lie to you? I'm not a good liar. I'm really not.
When you worked at the Patriots so closely with Bill Belichick, you said, and I think your son's coaching there right now, so you might have a little insider information on this, but very early you said Cam Newton and Bill Belichick are going to get along just fine. Cam Newton, this is going to be completely good. We agreed with you. There were some idiots in Boston and other places that were like, no, he's not going to be able to fit into the Patriot way and everything like that. Now videos are coming out, and Cam Newton is being Cam Newton, and Bill Belichick seems to be enjoying the hell out of it and complimenting the living shit out of Cam Newton, everything he does. You said that he's going to be named starter here in the next couple of days. What have you been hearing about that relationship? And is anybody in the building surprised at all by this whole thing?
No, not at all. He's the first guy there. I mean, read the quotes. Read the quotes from players. First guy here, last guy gone. Now, always with a new hat. Never the same outfit every day.
Respect.
Has a complete wardrobe.
Pretty good.
That kind of stuff doesn't bother Belichick. Belichick's about how hard you work. Is your head in the playbook? Do you put the team first? Are you doing the things to make us better? That's what he cares. He doesn't care what your fashion statement is. And everybody that thinks they know Bill has no idea. I was texting with a coach today who is new to that staff up there, and had been other. I mean, the reality is you don't know really what goes on in that building unless you've been in the building. And all these people that think they know, they really don't know.
The thought of what Adam Vinatieri told me the first time after we go up there and after the game, Belichick sought out Vinny. They had a moment. I was like, man, that's really cool. And I think I even gave a Belichick a fan, hey, big fan, man. Whenever he shook Vinny's hand, because I was just following Vinny around or whatever, and he was he gave him oh, thank you or whatever, and just walked it off or whatever. And I asked Vinny on the trip home, because it was up in Foxborough, I was like, what's that dude like? And he was like, you would love him. And he would love you, by the way. He has a great personality. Everybody says he has a great personality, incredible work ethic, and he's the same person every single day. He said the consistency is the outlandish how consistent he is.
And the media portrays him because they just don't know. And they can't get to him. They can't really rattle him because he truly has mental toughness. So no matter what they say, he can't get rattled. And no one knows. So they think they know. They think they've been behind I know what goes on at the pit. In fact, here's the reality. I said this to somebody. There's been more NBA basketball coaches that have read my book than NFL coaches. And the reason that is because most NFL coaches think they know what goes on in New England.
No.
They don't really need to read my book to know what goes on behind the scenes. Whereas the NBA coaches, they want to know. They want to learn. I mean, Brad Stevens invited me up to speak to his coaching seminar last summer because he had read the book. That's the reality. And coaches in the league, what Vinatieri told you is there's so many guys in the league that have a perception of what goes on in New England. It ain't reality. They don't know really what happens. They don't know how they prepare to win games. They don't know what it takes to win games. And so why would I read Lombardi's book? I know what they do up there. It's no big deal. They have no clue.
Hey,
as Uncle Junior from The Sopranos once said, some people are so far out of the race they actually think they're winning.
Paisan with a ponder quote. What's the name of the book?
Gridiron Genius. I'll send you. I got to get your house.
No, don't wait. Don't wait. You're wasting it. I'll buy one because I would like to support the cause, but I will never read it. So it's just there's no chance.
I got an audio tape. When you're doing that 115 steps, climbing up those stairs, when you're going up the Empire State Building every day, you can listen to it.
I do feel as if I've gotten a little soft. I have not cracked 200 yet in the last couple of weeks. I think today, I think I'm going to 200 today. I think I'm going 200 floors today.
Here we go.
I think I'm going 200 floors today.
What's the Empire State? How many floors are those?
I don't know, but it's that one over in it's the Wiz Khalifa.
Burj Khalifa. Yeah.
163.
The Burj Khalifa is 162 floors or something. That's in Abu Dhabi, so that's the one I go for.
I'm not going, but I applaud you.
No, I'm your inspiration. Remember, get your ass on that horse and find that fucking dog.
Hell yeah.
Diggs, what do you got?
Michael, we had you on every Friday last year during the football season. Picks were great, obviously.
Great picks, by the way. What were you? Do you remember your percentage? You probably do.
I think it was, somewhere like 68, 69%.
Is that good?
I don't know. Vegas Dave may be better. I don't know. I don't know. It's the best. I love that guy. That guy, he's selling picks. He's never been wrong, right?
We're 10 days away from betting the NFL season. Are you, general things? Are we fading first-year coaches? How, is there things that you're looking for week one?
I really, that's a great question. I think go to the week one lines. There's a lot of action already been played on these week one lines, and most of this action is coming from sharp bettors. For example, the Niners are a 7.5 point favorite against the Cardinals in the opening game. Everybody are betting the Cardinals. The 49ers have 1%. As long as that number stays above 7.5, the Cardinals will be. Their offense is fairly intact. They've gotten better on defense. They gave the 49ers trouble last year. To me, the way I'm looking at this thing is, I think conditioning is going to matter in the month of September. I think the teams that do less, meaning they don't have a lot of scheme to them, that they can execute and don't make mental mistakes, are going to be able to win. I think red zone offense and defense is really going to matter, and I think red zone third downs are going to matter. I think the teams that know that, and so those things tell me, veteran NFL coaches that understand what it's going to take to get a team ready, I'm going to play them in quarterbacks in the first week, and I'm going to look for the numbers because we don't know really what's going on. We haven't watched these teams practice. We haven't seen. The line in Kansas City, Houston, on Thursday night is 10 going to 10.5. It's moving there. That's a lot of points, especially considering how good Houston's offense could be. And what people don't realize is down the stretch last year, Kansas City's defense was really good, really good. That's how they really won the Super Bowl. Their defense played at a higher level than it did all year, and I'm not sure they can do that.
Okay, so, you just said a lot. Obviously you just said a lot. It was incredibly deep and very knowledgeable, but you said to the teams that do a lot, look for them to potentially be in trouble because of conditioning earlier. I think the Kansas City Chiefs are the picture of teams that do a lot, right? Isn't that the team that does?
The Chiefs are deceiving because they do a lot, but they're simple. Think about the formations they're in. It's always 3-by-1 with Kelsey away from the 3-by-1. Why is that? Because they want to be able to get the ball. They want to know where the double teams are coming. You can't double Tyreek Hill really well when he's in the slot. So they're really kind of simple, but they run the same plays over and over again from different looks. It's the Joe Gibbs. If you said to me, Michael, who influenced Bill Belichick more than anybody? People would say, Bill Parcells. No, Joe Gibbs. Because Joe Gibbs was really good at running a lot of different looks, but having them all be the same look, same plays from different looks. That, to me, is a little bit like the Chiefs. You don't want to get into situations. How many times have you seen those free acts? Guy blows the coverage, no communication. That's going to happen in September because the teams that don't understand less is more in September will lose.
Michael, what's Bill Belichick's favorite food?
Ooh. Favorite food?
Yeah.
Well, that's a good question. I don't,
Does he eat?
Steak, steak
peanut butter
well
jelly
done.
sandwiches.
He eats it
steak,
well
well
done.
done.
It's
He's a steak guy. He likes a burger. That's
well
steak.
steak.
Subway sandwiches.
Well
What a
done
beast.
steak. Okay, that's because he's tough.
I think anything, crabs. I think seafood is probably his favorite.
Chickens up there in
Lobster roll.
Boston. Up there,
Delicious.
well
Clam chowder.
well done steak and lobster, a little surfing, incredibly fried turf.
Does he actually eat
That was an interesting. Only a great host like yourself can make that transition from the betting of the Kansas City game to Bill Belichick's diet.
Well, as soon as I heard you say Michael, I had to do a Michael question, and that was the only one that I could really think of. That's 100% on me. So you kind of went back and forth on the Kansas City Houston game because obviously it's the first game, so we are going to hammer very large. You're feeling Houston, it feels like, huh? Because you think the defense isn't going to be as good as they were down the stretch, and that's a lot of points.
Well, I think it's a lot of points, right? So let's just break down. So right now there's 2,143 tickets that have been written up on this game already. That's a lot of tickets. That's a lot of tickets so far, right? And so what are those tickets telling us? Because remember, the betting market is no different than the stock market. We have to follow the money to understand what's going on here. 54% of the tickets that are being written up are on the Chiefs. 50% of the money is coming in on both ways. All right. So really, everybody's taken and the line has moved down to 10. So because the line opened at 10.5 and it's gone to 10, and the money's the same, that tells you there's a lot of sharp money coming in more on Houston than on Kansas City.
Because the amount of bets are equaling the amount of money that's being bet on this side. So the amount of bets has moved the line.
Let me give you a better example. Let's just say, okay, San Francisco has 1,000 tickets, almost 1,100 tickets written up. 71% of those tickets that have been written up are taking the Arizona Cardinals. 98% of the money is on the Cardinals. No one's betting the Niners. No, so that 29% though, those tickets, they're $5 tickets. They're just cheap tickets because it only represents 2% of the money. So all the substantial money's coming in on the Arizona Cardinals. So you've got to look at these numbers and see where the money's going, and see, you always want to be on the side of the house.
Always. And by the way, this might be the most Italian thing I've ever heard you speak about here. This is the most Italian I've ever heard you. Because I used to work at a pizza shop. Okay, Dallas Salad Pizza. Shout out Dallas Salad Pizza in Pittsburgh. And one of his family members definitely ran a book. It was very obvious. But all he would ever talk about is the number moving and what he would do with the moving. And that was like his whole thing. That's like the deeper play.
You have to understand the market. You got to know where the money's going. You just can't be Vegas Dave and have a hunch. You know, you got to know what the market is, and you've got to really understand it. And you know, like and when the ticket counts get up, right? And here's what happens with the books do, which tells you, if you see a lot of money coming in on a team and they don't move the number to the team where the money's coming, that tells you that's public money. When they move the number based on where the sharps are coming, the people that do this for a living, the Billy Walters, those guys that have made a living on football, then they move that number.
I can't wait to have more of these conversations, because we're trying to take every single dollar from the company that's right over your head right there, FanDuel. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, the incredibly smart and active, and today sawed down everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, Pies on Michael Lombardi.
I told you the truth. I didn't
Yeah.
It's not personal. It's business.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Foxy.
That's business, baby.
Hey, have a good one, Lombardi. We appreciate
Thank you.
Yep. Man. I mean, he fucking sawed down everybody.
Yeah, he also called him Yannick Ndake.
Yeah, Ngake.
He's notorious for getting names wrong.
And he does not care, by the way. I told him, and he just powered right through it. I mean, that guy. I'm sure there's a lot of people that have played for teams or worked for teams that he was at, and they probably hate him, and I would assume that. I enjoy talking to him a lot. Like, I enjoy talking to him a lot. Okay, what have we not covered today that we said we're going to cover? John Rahm, big thanks to Michael Lombardi. I got some big bets there. Houston plus 10 feels good. He said, look for red zone offense and third downs. Okay, obviously that's football. Then he also likes the Cardinals plus 7.5. I mean, that was... he taught me the line moving, why that means so much and what it means. That was very Italian of him.
And that line has dropped to 9.5 for Texans Chiefs, which is a big difference.
Then 10?
Oh, yeah. Big difference.
Yeah,
that's one of those key numbers.
Yeah, that's one of them. Well, you could probably buy a half point on
you
that.
Could.
You probably should do
vet
that.
QBs and vet coaches, Buccaneers. I mean...
But that's a whole new system, though.
So
that's like,
that's where you weigh the two.
I should have asked. See, that would have been a good follow-up question by me, but instead I asked him about the favorite food thing. That's on me. Let's go to this right here. The BMW Championship this past weekend. Not a lot of people knew it was happening because there was a lot of other stuff on television, but boy, the end was electrifying. Dustin Johnson, 1 week after having a negative 5,000 at a golf course and being on one of the biggest heaters in the history of golf, he gets into it. John Rahm, he go to an extra hole because of a 44-foot Drano putt from Dustin Johnson. The thing moved 3 different times. He looked as if he liked it from the very beginning. What an insane putt to make it go into extra holes against John Rahm, who, whenever he was on the practice range, heard the reaction of the putt going through, stops his drive, says he made it, goes into war. Here we go, extra hole to win the entire BMW Championship from 66 feet away with a car in the backdrop. It's a big swinging left to right putt. He puts it in their center cup. What an unbelievable way to finish. I would have lost my mind. I saw his reaction. It was insane. If you make this putt with $0 on the line, only one of your friends there, and nobody else on the entire fucking course with no camera on it, you go apeshit. If there's a camera on this with millions and millions of dollars on the line and a tournament, and you're beating Dustin Johnson in that moment, what a just feeling that had to be for Jon Rahm. He went crazy, as he should have. I potentially take clothes off, sprint around, jump into nearest water, and have the time of my life. I wouldn't have been able to control that. I've never made a putt longer than 10 feet, I don't think. So if I drain a 66-footer to dominate and win a tournament, I'm going to lose my mind. Good for them.
No, I think it's huge because I believe it's week 2 of the FedEx Cup playoffs.
Yes.
So based on
lot of points.
A lot of points, and the winner gets $15 million. I think it ends this weekend, this upcoming weekend. 15. Did I say 15 million points? $15 million.
Yeah, I think everybody knew what you're talking about. Phil Mickelson's going on the senior tour at this point, and he's driving the green on every hole because he gets the tee off from like in front of the red tees. Good for Phil Mickelson. He's just going to win everything. I think that is a goal of mine, by the way. Senior tour.
Oh, yeah.
Like after I retire, I would like to get into some golf tournaments. Now, granted, I have to be good enough to go to that Tahoe one and perform well, and you have to get old enough to, I have to live long enough to be in that senior thing. But that would be an awesome little goal. Retire on my own island, have a little golf course over there, and then just pop back in for a couple of senior tournaments and then fly back. That would be awesome. That's the life.
The sticks are ready for Tahoe, too.
Oh, yeah.
I feel
You're
good. I feel like I'm in a spot where I could compete at Tahoe, but I ain't doing what that fucking tennis player did. That guy went from like 180 yards out and landed in a spot this big.
Could.
I could, I guess, but
Yeah, hang out with Morikawa
I
for
see you
a
do
couple
it.
rounds.
hey,
He'll be
that's
all
our
right.
guy. Morikawa's our guy. Hopefully, he comes on the show again. I got to get better at golf and maybe get a set of clubs that is fitted for me, which
That would help.
Smart.
yeah, because I have 3 different sets of clubs in my bag currently.
Do you
That's
like
still
how
tough.
the PGA playoffs now does it? So like this week, going into the final week, because DJ has the most points, he starts the tournament at -10, and then Rahm starts it at -8. JT starts it at -7. Morikawa starts it at -5.
I like it.
Yeah.
It's like aggregate scoring.
Yeah.
So I'm a big fan of the aggregate scoring. I think they should keep everybody updated a little bit, so it doesn't feel as if you go in the middle. You're like, oh, this guy's crushing. It's like, oh, this is from 2 weeks ago, actually. He's been doing so well. I like it. I think it's a good way to set the tone for everything. Then the fact that those tournaments are like 4 days long anyways, and you might as well just carry them week to week anyways in the playoffs at this point. I think it's a good idea.
Tiger's out, right?
Yeah. He didn't. Yeah.
But he'll be at the Masters.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's all matters.
Tiger will do whatever he wants to do. Tiger.
Get that jacket.
Tiger and Foxy, same size calves, different golf game.
True.
Yeah, true.
Much different golf
A
game.
lot different.
He's so good at golf. So good. Where's Morikawa at?
He is in 5th, I believe.
He can get hot though.
yeah.
If something looks good in his eye, it looks good to my eye. He said he'll get hot.
Drive the green.
Last night was WWE Payback, a pay-per-view that saw the end of it with Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman celebrating a Universal Championship. For those that don't know, let me give you a quick rundown. Roman Reigns was a wrestler who was the top guy after John Cena kind of left and became part-time. Roman Reigns, good guy. Roman Reigns, part of a group called The Shield. They broke up. He goes and does his own thing. He kind of gets a big-time push because he's attractive, looks like he could beat the hell out of everybody, and a good worker in the ring. So WWE pushed him, and he's related to The Rock as well. Great family line of talent. He gets pushed. At some point, the fans turn on Roman, even though he's a good guy, because he was getting such a big push. The fans kind of got sick of Roman. Roman then truly gets diagnosed with cancer, has to go beat cancer, comes back. People love Roman Reigns because he's not only is he a badass in the ring, now he's beat cancer. It was one of the biggest moments in wrestling in modern history whenever he came back from that. Then quarantine happens. He's immunocompromised because he just beat cancer, disappears for a while. So Roman was just finally getting loved again like he was at the beginning of his entire run. Because he defeated cancer, he disappears because of the immunocompromisation of what the quarantine was about with them doing shows. He comes back, bad guy, bad guy, with Paul Heyman as a mouthpiece. He has one of the greatest taglines right now, wreck everyone and leave. He did that last night. Now he's the champion with Paul Heyman as his mouthpiece. Going to be very entertaining. Shout out to Roman Reigns coming back. Shout out to his teeth looking better than ever. And shout out to Paul Heyman having a brand new person to talk for. He's a wizard and a maestro on the microphone.
Jaguars should hire him. Put him in the front office.
All-time talker.
Who's that, Roman?
No. Paul Heyman.
Paul Heyman?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have him be running the PR for the Jags.
Well, I don't know if he's the right guy. He will get people to hate you for sure. He is very, very, very good at that. And down there, La Liga cucks Man City. Messi not happy about this. We don't know the soccer as good as we should in no other sports. Christian Pulisic, obviously best soccer player on planet Earth. Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi fighting for number 2 there. Messi woke up one day last week and told Barcelona, the club he's played for a long time. That's proper pronunciation.
Yes,
Barcelona. He told the club, Barcelona, that he didn't want to play there anymore. And then that afternoon, he said, I want to go to Man City, by the way. Man City then this weekend allegedly was ready to put $500 million up. Now La Liga and Barcelona are saying that's not how it's going to go down. This is potentially going to get messy with Messi.
Yeah, we covered this last week, obviously, because we cover all sports.
That's what
and
we
we
do.
said because Messi had an opt-out clause in his contract, but because of COVID, that didn't happen before June when it has to. So La Liga and Barcelona are making Barcelona are making them pay the transfer fee, which would be $700 million. That's just to get the rights to then pay Messi his contract, which is like $700,000 a week, I think I read.
They do not fuck around with soccer money over there, huh?
No.
Not
Dude, I think Champions League final, there was like 380 million people who watched it or something like that.
So is Barcelona going to go after Pulisic now?
I think so.
They were smart.
Okay.
Or maybe Ronaldo, because I think Ronaldo might be out of Juventus.
I think he's out of Juventus.
Ronaldo from Juventus to Barcelona.
Barcelona. Ooh. Well, if you go to Ibiza, which is in Spain, which is also where I've been to Barcelona, by the way. Yeah. I have been there via a cruise. I once saw that big ass church. What's that big ass church they have?
Oh, the Basilica.
It's a nice place. I don't know why Messi wants to leave so bad. He wants out of there. That's an expensive price tag, though. Almost $1 billion to get a guy. But he's going to bring that amount of money, I assume, in jersey sales and everything like that.
It would be really cool, though. Maybe Messi goes to Juventus and plays with Ronaldo.
Well, there's a thought, though, that he potentially goes to Man City and then he plays in the MLS in 2 years from now or something.
Yeah, I didn't understand that. Why would you pay like €793 million if you're only getting like 3 years of service from the guy?
Well, interesting you say that because the MLS is the League of Tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, so
League of the Future.
Yeah, it is League of the Future.
It's lacrosse of soccer leagues.
Yeah, it is. It's lacrosse of soccer leagues, the Dippin' Dots of soccer leagues. Yeah. And if Messi can come, whenever he's 38, 39 years old and play for the New York City FC team, I mean, that's going to make $1 billion in of itself. Overnight, because the MLS is like a rocket ship right now. I don't know if you saw their bubble tournament down in Orlando.
They have one?
But they have. Did you not watch it?
Kicked it off.
You know what? I think I did see a couple games.
Soccer in the Orlando bubble for the MLS was must-see, okay? I know a lot of people who are soccer purists probably said that it was tough to watch. I, on the complete opposite side, enjoyed the hell out of it because it looked like I was watching high school soccer. There was a chance the goalie was going to fall on his face immediately upon somebody shooting the ball and it going in. There was a chance a guy was going to be wide open and was going to trip on his feet right onto his face and not score a goal. And then there was a chance a guy was going to dice 10 people and score. The highs and lows of that MLS soccer tournament down in the bubble were electrifying, and they actually captivated me for the first time in its entire existence. Couldn't even imagine if Messi was down there just juggling it over everybody's head. I would watch it every single night. That could be worth $1 billion in of itself. Smart move by the Manchester City people who also own NYCFC. Smart move to pay $2 billion.
Oh, NYCFC?
Yeah,
NYCFC.
NYCFC, yep.
We have breaking news from the NFL from Adam Schefter.
Ooh. Okay, here we go. Is the tweet been sent through so we can pull it up?
It has.
Okay, here we go.
It absolutely has. Saints running back Alvin Kamara has had an unexcused absence from training camp the past 3 days, and it is believed to be contract related.
Oh. So, unexcused absence means they're setting it up to fine the shit out of him, okay? This was not agreed upon. This was not both sides here talking about. This is an unexcused absence. 3 days of missing it. It's going to get a bit pricey, but will it go any further? Alvin Kamara last year was not the focal point of the offense like he was 2 years ago whenever he broke out onto the scene in fantastic fashion. He was the conversation around every Saints game basically was, hey, they have this running back in Kamara who not only is incredibly cool, not only is he incredibly smooth, but he is unbelievable. Last year, Michael Thomas took the focal point of the offense away from Alvin Kamara. He knows, is this his last year of his contract?
This is last year of his rookie deal. He's going to make $2.3 million.
Okay, $2.3 million, and we have already talked about how many free agent running backs are after this season. If you look at the list of free agent running backs, Alvin Kamara's on there, James Conner's on there, Dalvin Cook's on there. I mean, you just go through basically
Aaron Jones.
You're talking about there is 10 premium running backs that are all free agents next offseason. Alvin Kamara, this is a smart business decision, but if he doesn't get the deal, he's going to get fined, and he's going to find a tough market next offseason. This is a good move business-wise, but we'll have to see how this thing all pans out because, boy, the Saints know that there's about 9 guys other than him that are going to be on the free agent block next offseason, and they might be able to get somebody for very, very cheap. It will be if it's 3 days, by the way, that means it's not going well because if he threatened to leave camp and they were like, all right, let's get a deal done, we can get a deal done, and they said no, he leaves camp. It's not like they got it done the first day. It's not like they got it done the second day. Now they're into 3 days, and it's unexcused. They still don't have a deal done. Tough for Alvin Kamara, but this is the business. Hey, Melvin Ingram over there is holding in. Alvin Kamara said, I don't care what the new CBA says. I don't care how much you can find me. I'm going to get the fuck out of here. I do not want to be a free agent alongside all those other guys.
I assume that it's different in like the language of every contract, but what do you think he's getting fined every day for missing practice?
It's probably a rather large amount of money, I would assume.
Because Diggs, I mean, during last season, he lost
$250,000.
Exactly.
A lot of change.
Because you get fined for every single thing you miss. Team meeting, lift, walkthrough, practice, this. You get fined for every single thing, and that thing can just start stacking up. And it's all conduct detrimental to the team, by the way, which is an even bigger thing. Joining us now, Super Bowl champ. By the way, we fucking hit everything.
Wow. Ooh, those check marks.
That's a show. That's a show. That's a show.
Hell yeah. Gotcha. Hell yeah.
Now's the beginning of a brand new show every single day, Monday through Friday, except Wednesday of this week because he has a previous obligation with his brother-in-law. Ladies and gentlemen, Super Bowl champion, greatest jawline in the history of sports, Mr. AJ Hawk.
What's happening, guys? Hey, I think the max fine is $30K a day if you miss training camp.
So that's $90,000. Is that on the new CBA, or is that just what you've learned throughout your travels here?
I don't know. It honestly could be on the old CBA. I really have. I saw it. So I remember seeing that somewhere, but yeah, it could be the old CBA. When did they get the new one done? During COVID, like during the break? Did they figure something else out?
Well, that's why the Melvin Ingram thing was happening, where he was holding in, right? Because they were like, well, new CBA says if he shows up, they can't find him, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if they changed the price or whatever, but Alvin Kamara holding out, it has to be because he has seen the free agent market for running backs next offseason. I mean, it is a plethora of talent at the running back position that are going to be on the market. Here we go. Derrick Henry, he's up after a franchise tag with Tennessee. Leonard Fournette, he's actually been cut. He's a free agent right now. Dalvin Cook, Aaron Jones, Mixon, Kamara, Phillip Lindsay, Marlon Mack, who, if he can stay healthy, incredible running back. Last year, he had signs of greatness. Todd Gurley, Kenyon Drake. I mean, you name it. James Conner, he's not on there. He'll be up as well. There is a lot. Other notables, Kareem Hunt. How is he not on the fucking thing? James Conner, Matt, you get it, Tariq Cohen, and Chris Carson
from Seattle.
Yeah.
This is an incredibly loaded free agent running back market. If Dalvin Cook tried to get a deal before he got in there, it didn't work. Alvin Kamara is trying right now. That is smart business, but I don't know how it's going to work out, knowing that the team knows that all those people are going to be available next offseason and not everybody can get paid.
Yeah, maybe it's probably a smart move by Kamara trying to jump out ahead of all this. But if the Saints really want to flex a little bit on him, what if they brought in Leonard Fournette for a workout? He just got released and they're like, oh, hey, what's Fournette doing in town? We're just working out, kicked the tire, trying to see what he's like. Like, you think that would bring Kamara back quicker?
And Fournette, by the way, they said they tried to trade him. They couldn't. Doug Marone's exact words were, we tried to trade him. We couldn't get a fifth, couldn't get a sixth.
Yeah, why'd you take a shot? Like, you had to take a shot at him on the way out? Like, big time. We couldn't get anything for this guy.
I don't know, but if you're another team and you see that nobody else wanted to trade for him as well, you could probably pay Leonard Fournette accordingly, knowing that there wasn't a lot of interest in the market, in the trade market, unless they just thought everybody thought he was going to get cut. I would assume that they'd be able to get Leonard Fournette at an okay price, not that crazy of a price. How much is Alvin Kamara making? 2.3 million. If you can sign him for 1 year at $2 million, which is potential. I don't know what the market is for Leonard Fournette unless I call all the GMs I have in my Rolodex. That's fucking none of them. I don't know what the whole market's going to be. But it feels like this is something where Leonard Fournette to the Saints would be quite a gangster move if they were to do that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I don't think it's going to happen. But Kamara going into camp, I know, was quoted as saying, like, oh, I'm not worried about my contract situation right now. He probably was trying to stay, like, hold the company line and be a good teammate and try to say, like, I'm not going to hold out. And then it probably just they probably just haven't gotten anywhere with a new contract. So he's like, all right, man, the only leverage I have is if I take off.
Leaving camp, though, is a big decision because you got to threaten to leave camp first, right? So somebody has to know that, hey, if Hey, y'all keep. I'll get out of here. I will leave camp right now. They're like, no, he won't. No, he won't. Then you leave camp, and it's not like day one they get a deal done. Like, hey, we don't want you to be gone. Let's figure this out. Day two. Now we're 3 days into this thing, and they're presenting it as an unexcused absence so they can find the hell out of him. This is a potential buttoning situation that could be massive.
Saints also have Latavius Murray, so like if Kamara, if he misses a week or two, you could win games with Latavius Murray as your running back.
They did last year.
Boy, this is a problem.
He did have 81 catches. I mean, they do throw the rock to him. They need him.
Well, no, what's his name?
Taysom situation.
Taysom Hill slips right in.
Oh man, I forgot about Taysom Hill. What did he get? $7 million this year? $8 million? What's Taysom Hill?
2 years, 6.
I'm on it.
I think he's making $7-8 million.
Right?
Yeah.
He'll go in the backfield every once in a while. The Saints, though, what an interesting place that is right now, I bet. I mean, that's an interesting building. Got Jameis.
How does it work, though? When Kamara does get this thing settled, does he have like a 2-day reacclimation period where he has to pass 3 negative COVID tests? How does that work?
Yeah, he probably has to get quarantined. AQ had to be locked up in his room for a few days before he had either 2 or 3 negative tests before he could even go work out for them. And then working out for them, he had to pass another test, the whole thing for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So I assume it's a 4 or 5 day process. So 3 unexcused absences actually becomes maybe 7 to 8 days out of it, which is valuable time for a running back in training camp. We've talked to a lot of running backs who have held out during training camp. Chris Johnson, notable one, told us that he would never do it again because he was out of shape. He said he felt out of shape. He didn't feel as if he was as prepared or anything like that. And if you look at Melvin Gordon last year for the Chargers, he held out, didn't have the year he had. I think running back is a position where you don't have to be. Alvin Kamara is obviously a freak athlete, but that feels like a position where you have to be in there. Like you have to be in there. I just hope he gets paid. I hope he has a great year, but I don't see how that's going to happen.
I mean, he's probably looking around and seeing like, wow, man, like everybody is just devaluing the running back position more and more as time goes. When you see Leonard Fournette let go, which I love how what they try to say it's strictly for on the field, production. Like, okay, we know it's not. You took a shot at the guy on the way out, and you're the head coach, Doug Marrone. We couldn't do anything. Nobody won, and we've been trying to trade this guy for 6 months, and nobody cares. Like, you don't have to do that. If you truly, I don't know. I don't know. I guess they must have a pretty poor relationship. I know they've had issues back and forth over the years.
Did you hear what MJD said? Maurice Jones-Drew said earlier on the show?
No.
He gave up hope. It sounded a lot like he said, I think the Jaguars are going to go 16-0, which is what I say every year, but it doesn't make sense to me what they're doing. They're getting rid of everybody. It is a clearance sale. Everything must go. Gardner Minshew's our guy. You can't name another player here. We don't care. This is what we're doing. It's wild to me what's going on down there, AJ. I mean, legitimately wild. No player will ever try to tank because they want to get paid. But it sure feels like the idea here is to potentially suck as bad as you possibly can for a much brighter future. Michael Lombardi told us just a couple minutes ago, he thinks after the season, after the suck fest, it's going to get blown up and they're going to try to restart with a coach and give him kind of control of everything, which is what you have to do. But do you think like Dabo Sweeney is the guy to potentially give an entire franchise to? I mean, I guess you don't know until you try, but that's what Michael Lombardi said he feels like they're probably going to do.
Actually, first off, I tuned in as soon as Lombardi jumped on the show with you.
Oh, hey, welcome to the show. Hey,
AJ. Thanks, AJ.
Hey, Jay, watch your
First
show.
time.
Thank you, man.
I like to watch it, and I love that Lombardi legit took shots at maybe 15 different people.
Bro, it was unbelievable. He sawed down every human. MVP Mitch got one out of nowhere. I mean, then also the other draft picks that are on Solomon Thomas. You remember that guy? Lombardi sawed down everybody. But he's right about David Caldwell down there and Doug Marrone. He feels like they're going to get blown up, and they're just kind of they're lame ducks right now, kind of sitting here watching the entire team kind of fold in around it.
Well, if you're Sean Khan, what do you have to lose? Like, you might as well, like, whatever you do, if you blow it up after this season, don't you think they're a team that, for some reason, whether because they're an expansion team, whatever it is, nobody really cares about the Jags for some reason. Like they're in the AFC Championship game how many years ago, and people never even really looked at them like a true threat. I feel like, unless you were a diehard Jags fan, and they've had some solid players. We know that their defense was rolling that year, but with Ngakoue just taking a big pay cut and to go to Minnesota, and they can tag him the following year too. Like, man, guys are really wanting out of this place. What's happening down there?
Oh, $6 million less. Send me out of the Florida weather, too, and the no state tax. Send me into Minnesota. Send me into the tundra and to the state tax. Anything to not be a Jaguar, I am in for. I mean, it's just – that's a wild scene down there in Jacksonville. Fucking wild scene.
Well, I guess MJD wasn't there with Marone. Like, I would love to talk to some people on the inside there and just figure out, like, what's it like? Like, does Gardner Minshew even like it? Is Gardner going to demand a trade here after this season?
Well, Gardner, they're kind of building this team around him, right?
His football team.
Let's get Nick Foles out of here. Let's go ahead and remember they started giving out mustaches and jorts last year.
Headbands.
Headbands.
Yeah.
They started really like marketing around him. That's why when Big Richard, Nick Foles came back, they had to get rid of him. Yeah, Minshew Mania was a real thing because they didn't want Big Richard to potentially steal that shine. But you got 2 games in London every single year. You got a fan base that I would assume is trying to hold on to some optimism, but there's absolutely nothing. If you're Shad Khan as a businessman, at some point you got to be able to turn this thing around. And I would assume he said, fuck it. We've kind of sucked forever. Let's just completely suck and move forward. But everybody's going to get fired down there, and it's going to be changed. But, I mean, that is –
high profile. Don't you think they need a high-profile hiring? Like a Dabo Swinney would make waves. Like, he would be Dabo in his press conferences and create some buzz. I don't know. I don't know if he wants to coach in the NFL, and I don't know if it would carry over and he'd be successful.
Hey, listen, we're playing football down here in Jacksonville. He is a very Southern man. I mean, he is a very, very. By the way, I learned this weekend. Speaking of Southern, this is the transition you only see on this type of show. Kentucky Fried Chicken's first store in Utah. Fucking unbelievable.
Really?
What?
Oh shit.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Utah.
Did you know that?
Is that where the Colonel's from?
Mormons, it's been considered KFC for years. They, for some reason, with some kind of patent or trademark, they can't say Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Well, they tried to get healthy, so it was Kentucky Fresh Chicken is what they changed to. It was KFC Kentucky Fresh Chicken. They're always doing the most, but I was very intrigued to know that White Castle was the first fast food.
Okay.
White Castle was the first fast food.
White stinks.
McDonald's came after that. Then KFC was founded in Utah. First ever one was in Utah.
What did you watch to where you learned all this?
Pizza Hut was in Wichita, Kansas. Shout out to them for making fucking Pizza Hut. And Pizza Hut, by the way, the first fast food to be delivered to the International Space Station, that delivery charge was $1 million.
Nice.
Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut.
NASA goes that extra mile.
Out of this world.
Nobody knows if this is true, though. Nobody knows whatever website you read this on or whatever documentary that you watched on YouTube. We don't know. We can't fact check this.
Yeah, you can.
No, it's true.
Yeah, check it right now.
Who paid the $1 million? The U.S. government?
Russia. I think it's Russia Space Station. Thank you very much.
Who ordered the pizza? Yeah.
It was probably them. Pizza out of this world. Pizza Hut.
It's like when AQ ordered those 15 pizzas for your bachelor party.
That was not well received, and I don't think that actually turned out to be a hero move, and AQ knew that. Hey, AQ down there in Tampa, he's putting a towel in his ass. He is doing it. I saw a couple photos. There's a towel. There's a towel hanging out of his pants down there.
He's a dictator. He has to.
You'd have to. Like I know there's been times where centers have to change pants at halftime because it's so hot out. The game is so humid and the guy's so hot he sweats completely through his pants. And this is obviously back in the day when guys are taking more snaps from under center and the quarterback's hands are drenched because the center is just sweating that much, so they make him change pants at halftime.
And that particular sweat there is the one that's really known for not being the worst sweat on the entire body. Yeah. You know what I mean? Just kind of go ahead and put your hands right into the most disgusting cesspool of the body. Also, these guys are 300 pounds, okay? Big guys. I assume they eat very healthy, so their sweat's probably the cleanest sweat of all time, too. And, oh, my God.
By the way, some of them don't wear anything under their game pants.
Some guys accidentally pee every once in a while whenever they get excited, too. I mean, and you're just sticking – here's $500 million hands just sticking right up in there. Here you go. Let's go for it, boys. Can we go shotgun? This guy sweats like a mother. That's why I didn't play quarterback in the NFL.
Smart.
That's why anytime I played quarterback, I was 15 yards from the line of scrimmage shotgun. I just didn't want to do it. You know what I mean?
Stay back there.
Hey, you still never answered why.
Look at that.
Where you learned all those fun facts about fast food places.
Oh, it was a documentary for sure. It was on Netflix. I forget the name of it, but everything I just said was factual.
Colonel used to go around and license his chicken and spices and recipes to everyone, and then they got bought out. Someone bought him out for a low sum, decent amount of money at the time, but man, he got shortballed on the stick there.
Turns out they were the first one to franchise, by the way. KFC was the first one to franchise, and they just sent their chicken to places.
Yep.
Colonel
knew.
I like that. They wouldn't tell them the recipe. They just sent the stuff to them, and then obviously the franchising world happened. There's 2.4. Oh shit, a lot of numbers. 5 point. Oh shit!
This whole conversation, like I'm trying to find a way to be entertained by what fast food restaurants have done and when they were established.
Well, you need to have a little respect. McDonald's was the first one to go worldwide. By the way,
I love documentaries. I watch some of the slowest, worst documentaries there are. Like other people hate, so I understand it. I'm sure I'll probably end up.
This one's a good one. This is just change everything. By the way, McDonald's was the face of America to a lot
of game of the fast food world. It took them by storm, didn't it?
Yeah. By the way, hell yeah.
You see it, AJ?
That's amazing. And I am a guy, by the way, that likes McDonald's. So, and I'm proud. McDonald's was the
Spicy Nugs.
I do. Spicy Nugs coming September 16th. Shout out.
Oh, let's go.
Shout out to them. But the McDonald's was the face of like America for a lot of countries there for a while. There's videos where people were like, "This is America," and they were like eating a Big Mac, and I'm like, "Oh, that's why everybody thinks we're bitch fat asses." Which, by the way, we are. I mean, they talked about how 56% of adults are obese now, and they think fast food is potentially. I mean, the documentary turned sour there pretty quickly, but there's a lot of stats up there.
He got the best of the McDonald's boys too.
Who?
Ray Kroc. The guy who bought the franchising rights from them.
Yeah, smart play.
The movie with Michael Keaton, right?
Yeah, big scumbag.
Well, then you got to remember the Do Not Pass Go thing. I mean, that was a great documentary too with McDonald's.
That was
McMillions?
great. Yeah, what was that called?
McMillions.
McMillions, yeah.
Yeah. Fast food is a part of our culture. A lot more than I thought, by the way. The amount of stores.
Dirty game.
Outlandish. I mean, documentary was an eye opener. By the way, this is. Do we have intro?
Yeah, 1 second.
You are listening and watching an incredible show that is called McAfee and Hawk. Start the show.
The greatest sports talk show on the air.
Have to separate the two.
Smart.
This is how you do it.
Yep.
That was the intro for AJ.
You do an intro, yeah.
The boys on YouTube.
You know what I mean?
It's McAfee and Hawk. It's McAfee and Hawk sports talk.
Fucking AJ
used to tackle quarterbacks, and he's a Rust Belt kind of guy. That's the punter of the decade for the 2010s, kicking pass missiles to the sky. It's McAfee and Hawk. It's McAfee and Hawk sports talk. It's McAfee and Hawk.
Audio down.
No, keep the audio up.
Oh,
AJ, did you see this about the Derwin James? Sorry, man. Sorry. It's been a long show. Derwin James has a meniscus tear. He already had surgery. This guy, all-pro, superstar, obviously young safety for the Chargers, one of their studs. A meniscus trim, which can be 4 or so weeks, or a full repair, which can be several months. I have seen Eric Walden get a meniscus surgery and come back like 3 weeks later, I think 4 weeks later. I've seen numerous people have this surgery and return in either a month or less. I would assume that was the option they did for Derwin James, but this is going to be a painful year for him, which could hurt, especially in the secondary.
This guy's an absolute stud, yeah. And I'm sure they're not going to want to rush him back. And a knee scope is not like a crazy serious thing. I think I've had 6 of them. Like, you can trim it off like they said in the tweet. I hope they're right when they say they trim it and then just cut it out. Or if you repair it, they sew your cartilage that's torn, I guess. And that's a much longer recovery. That's something you do like in the off season, not during the season usually. So 4 weeks, so what? When does that put him back? When's the first game again?
So we're at 2 weeks out almost.
Week 3.
So it'll probably be like week 3 he's back if he goes out a full month. But that's going to be – it's still – if they trim it, that doesn't fix the issue though. There's still going to be some pain and catch in there. That's why the entire recovery thing is going to happen, which could change. I've had both – I've had 3, I believe, scopes. They are pretty quick recovery depending on how deep you go in there. But with Derwin James, that's a player they need over there. I would assume a lot of decisions are being made like, hey, you're going to be great for us for like another 5-10 years, which we have to figure out 10 years. But also like this year, we can't just completely kind of mail it in on. I feel like this is something that has to happen. I'll be intrigued to see how they balance that, especially with the rehab for that thing. It's going to be a tenuous cycle of rehab for the guy.
Yeah, it definitely will. But they're going to be leaning on their defense heavily, you would imagine, with Bosa and Ingram coming off the edge. Like, their defense should be very, very good.
Very good. Chris Harris, too.
Oh, yeah. I mean, these guys on Hard Knocks, right? Did you watch last night, right?
No, it's on Tuesdays. By the way, I thought the same thing. I thought it was on Sundays as well. And by the way, nobody's watching it, so fucking You're right.
What's going on? Why?
Nobody.
Why is that?
I don't know. I tweeted that nobody's watching it. And I got a couple of Hard Knocks diehard people that were like, everybody's watching HBO Max, HBO On Demand. Nobody's watching it live. It's like, okay, I understand. But I'll tweet about Hard Knocks, and there is nothing. Now, that could be the algorithm, which is why we're going back to Pander Twitter. If you would like to be a part of my Pander party on Twitter, go ahead and retweet the tweets that I send out in the next couple of days that are strictly pandering to Twitter's algorithm. But nobody's talking about Hard Knocks at all. I'm enjoying it, actually. I've been enjoying it to get to learn about these teams, but I think I'm watching it for a different reason than like the guys here wanted to see like the bubble guys, like their story and learn about them. Like I don't give a damn about that. Like I want to see what Anthony Lynn's like on a daily basis. I want to see what Sean McVay's like. What are their meetings like as opposed to the meetings I was a part of? That's why I enjoy Hard Knocks, but it's a much different world and nobody's fucking watching it.
Yeah, also it used to be the only way to be able to see stuff like that. Now teams are putting out their own content on social media and their websites and their own series even. Like no one looks to Hard Knocks anymore.
Smart, by the way. The NFL, I would assume when they negotiated with HBO, there was not a clause in there that each individual team couldn't do their own Hard Knocks episode. I would assume that was something that wasn't thought about, but what a groundbreaking series. I was a big fan of it, watching it while I was in the league and one of the first few years it was out there. I loved it.
Was the first year of Hard Knocks the Ravens with like Shannon Sharp and Ray Lewis, or was that already established?
Yeah, I believe that was the first one.
And they were in the Super Bowl too.
Yeah, and there's a couple moments that you look back to. I mean, when they were at the Bengals, obviously there was a couple things. I remember that horn in the morning that would wake them all up. And I was like, if they did that where I was, I'd fucking, what are we doing here?
That gave me nightmares because when I went to basketball camp when I was like freshman in high school, we'd stay in a dorm, go to a basketball camp for 4 days with our high school coach and everybody. Like 4:30 in the morning or something crazy. They would go down the hall at every single door too, and you could hear them 15 doors down, and you just get up and stand at your door like, "I got it 9 doors ago, bud. I heard you. You don't have to." And he would still come and right in front of your room. Terrible.
Where were you at a military base? It sounds like you're at a military base. You played for the Bengals though. Were you there for training camp, and is that something they still did?
I was there for camp. No, they didn't wake you up. We were in a hotel when I was there. I think that was back when they were at Georgetown. They used to travel to that college and do it.
Oh, so that was fake for the show.
No, I'm sure that happened. Remember, didn't they cut a guy like at 5 in the morning too? Like, I remember there was different ones when guys would get cut. And I'm like, this is not how you have to do it. They would wake a dude up at 4 in the morning and cut him or something.
Yeah, we're on HBO, so we got to do this now. Your dream of being on team, gone. Bring your iPad. Vontae Davis obviously has one of the most memorable moments in Hard Knocks history. I mean, that worked out very well for the Colts. Very, very well for the Colts. But we were watching Hard Knocks as he came to the team, you know. It was very interesting. Cool guy. One of the coolest dudes I've ever encountered, to be honest with you. Retired at halftime. I mean, Vontae Davis' career is littered with legendary moments. I mean, just absolutely legendary. All-pro in there a couple times as well. I mean, you're talking – Vontae Davis is an electric factory. If you're watching the show right now and you don't want others around you to hear the show, which makes a lot of sense because a lot of things that we say very dumb, and you probably wouldn't be as proud to know that other people are listening to said show. You should be listening to our show with our friends from Raycon.
Hell yeah!
Hell yeah! Hell yeah! Hell yeah! Raycon are wireless earbuds that are absolutely amazing, and they were co-founded by a guy named Ray J. AJ, you ever heard of Ray J, AJ?
Yes, I have.
What do you know about him?
I know that he makes some great earbuds. Other than that, I honestly don't know much about him.
Oh, yeah.
Great
film.
You had never heard of him before? You had no idea who Ray J was before learning of this Raycon wireless earbud that are just absolutely incredible with 6 hours of seamless Bluetooth pairing and playing. I mean, it is electrifying. That was all you knew of Ray J, AJ?
That is all that I knew. Yeah, now that I know I love his wireless earbuds.
And is that because they come in so many different styles and patterns that even kids love it? And whenever you get your E25 everyday earbuds from Raycon, they have different sizes that fit every single ear hole because me and AJ have very weird ear holes, so the things that are in there normally get kicked out. But not with my Raycon E25s because it comes with different sizes. Is that the only stuff you really knew about Ray J, AJ, your entire life? Is that type of news?
That's all the type of news that I knew of Ray J and things of that nature.
What about Snoop Dogg, Cardi B, Melissa Etheridge, and Brandy and J.R. Swish Smith, who said that they're their favorite wireless earbuds and can't get enough of them? Is that all you knew about Ray J, AJ?
That's all I knew about Ray J.
AJ?
Pat?
Raycon earbuds started about half the price of the other premium wireless earbuds on the market, but sound just as amazing. They got the boom booms, so you can feel the boom, boom, boom whenever you're listening to whatever you're doing. Listen to things today in a much better way at a half the price with our friends at Raycon. Right now, you can get the everyday E25 earbuds, which is their best model yet. Seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, 6 hours of playtime, and a nice noise isolating fit that comes in new colors. And you can get 15% off your order right now when you go to buyraycon.com/sports talk. That's buyraycon.com/sports talk for 15% off. I got to run to the bathroom. We got to get to a break. What do you want to talk about on the other side, AJ? What should we tease the people with? What conversation we're going to have on the other side?
Oh man, that's a good one.
Jesus,
I don't know. Where do you think Leonard Fournette may go?
Oh, that is what we should talk about. Leonard Fournette. AJ has a home for Leonard Fournette that we already talked about.
Mm-hmm. But I have two homes. I have two options for Leonard Fournette that I will reveal after you go to the bathroom.
Okay, so after the break, we will talk about Leonard Fournette's potential homes. We'll also talk about the NBA last night. Jamal Murray having 50 points for the second time in 3 games, 142. We'll also talk about Matt Nagy refusing to name a starter, saying this is a fair competition. One guy's getting paid $80 million or whatever. The other guy had a terrible year last year. Fair competition. We'll talk about that. This is the Pat McAfee Show. This is McAfee and Hawk. Oh, shit. Oh, my God. I'm so sorry. So sorry. That's on me. Well, hello, sensual piano keys. You sound incredibly inspirational and motivational. Big announcement coming from our company. You know, throughout my entire life, I've made decisions that people have said, ooh, that is stupid. You've read about them. You heard about them. When I was in high school, I went to an underground poker game, won $1,400, flew myself down to Miami, won a kicking contest, and got a scholarship to West Virginia the next day. I turned my back on soccer that day. Everybody said, you're an idiot. Why are you doing that? You have more schools looking at you for soccer than you do for football. What are you thinking? Fast forward 8 years with the Indianapolis Colts, and I was on top of the world, top of the mountain. How's the view? Not too shabby. And when I was at the top of my game, I decided, you know what? I'm going to pursue some other stuff. My friends and I are going to go to work on the internet. We're going to try to chase fulfillment as opposed to just a paycheck. And there were some interesting responses from people of power in the sporting world.
Make them tear the uniform off of you. Sure. Look, somebody needs to stage an intervention. People who know this guy, get to him now. Make him put his helmet back on and get to camp.
Oh, no, there's no intervention, Wilbon. No. Here we are 3 years after that date, and it's a celebration, bitches. Cut the music. Let's hand out some bags to the boys. For the boys. For the boys. By the way, that's for you, brother.
Oh my God.
Are you home? All right, come out the front door.
What's up, dude?
What's this?
Oh, you son of a bitch.
What the fuck? Fuck you. Oh, yeah. That is the bag of money.
FanDuel deal went through. There's $50,000 in there for you. Here's a backpack with $50,000 in it. Well, $50,000 in it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so there's $50,000 in there. Yeah, so there's $50,000 in there.
Are you fucking serious?
Let's go.
Did you rob a bank?
Oh, man. Let's go, dude.
Let's go. I appreciate you, buddy.
Yo, this is...
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you, dude.
We did it?
Couldn't have done it without you.
Oh, thank you.
Dude, it's a fuck ton of money. You guys.
When I asked Dan Patrick for some advice, he told me always take care of the boys.
Well, and you should know those people that are there with you, that Their value cannot be overstated and should not be overstated.
So, Mike Wilbon, they didn't hold my jersey on me. They didn't hold my helmet on me. We didn't have an intervention. What we have is a celebration. Because when you bet on yourself, sometimes you hit for big. And for us, the only place we'll bet for the next couple years in an exclusive deal, FanDuel backed the Brinks truck up to our office, and we have never been more thankful, more excited, and more together as we promote the greatest sports book on planet Earth. August 31st, we did not lie. Show moved to 3 hours, August 31st.
Yeah,
we
sure.
said sometime in August. Show moved to 3 hours.
Nailed it.
We didn't lie. Did we know at the time that was going to happen? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Hey, AJ, how was the break? We've never really taken a break before while being live. What did you do? I saw you hitting a little bit of a stoker.
Yeah, it was good, man. I got to watch your little. I know I've seen all of those little clips that you guys put together of your travels, but I always see like little bits and pieces. So it was good to get to see that whole one. I didn't know Wilbon stepped out and tried to tell you, rip the jersey off. Like, why?
Oh, yeah. Wilpon.
Why does it make people so mad if you decide to walk away early?
Well, Wilpon was looking out for my best interest. And
He also has no idea.
You know, Wilpon's been around a long, long time. There's no.
It's Wilbon, but yeah.
No.
No, I'm pretty sure it's Wilpon.
It's Mike Wilpon.
Yep. Okay.
Mitch.
Pretty sure, pal.
That was the Mets.
How do you spell it?
Will Pawn.
Yeah, it's French.
As in, like, the chess piece.
Same way it sounds.
Because he's not a checkers player, he's a chess player. But in this particular one, checkmate, my friend. I just got an email for somebody to ghostwrite a book for me. In the the last thing says, we have helped thousands of authors to get their work published. Are you next? Do you have what it takes? Don't forget that this is a limited time offer ending today. Fucking shout out to you, proficient ghostwriter.
Oh. They really waited to the last second to let you know.
All the great ghostwriters do that. They send it to you and say you have 12 hours to respond.
That's what I just got for a fucking book about my life.
That's why they're ghosts.
That's what I want to do. That is what I want to do. Shout out to them. We're being joined now, here in a couple seconds, by a man named Darius Butler. AJ, I forgot about this.
Okay.
AJ, you a big video game player?
No, I'm not.
Me neither. But let me tell you why this is going to be eye-opening to you and I. So there was a big movement on the internet this weekend that was like NFL
21?
NFL right? Stop EA or something like that.
Yeah.
Or NFL, what was the exact thing? I forget what it was. Hashtag
I saw it in the group
NFL
earlier.
Drop EA. Okay, so the EA is obviously for EA Sports. It's in the game. They obviously own Madden. But the Madden community on the internet fucking hates the Madden makers of EA. I did not know this was a real thing because we're not really in the video game community, you and I, AJ, but the Madden community is sick of EA Sports. They want the NFL to cut their relationship with EA Sports. They want somebody else to make the NFL game, the football game, because people, I think, enjoy playing it and love the thought of what it could be. But I guess EA Sports is just dropping the ball completely. I'm not a big video game player. Neither are you. So to bring in is a guy who was tweeting this weekend about it, good friend of ours, Darius Butler, to chit-chat. He's not on.
He has not answered. He gave me the little red button.
Oh.
Looks like hashtag NFL drops EA.
Well, I'll try again right now.
Well, no, I think they were both trending.
Oh, there's a few of them?
Yeah, you got to remember, anytime something like that trends, there's going to be alternative hashtags being used as well.
The typo will also.
The typo trend will always go. But I guess now, Ty, you're a big Madden player.
Mm-hmm.
That meme, that Spider-Man meme about Madden and the entire thing, like that is how a lot of people feel, is that just the EA Sports are just very lazy. They have not gotten on with it. It was trending and it was very loud. I got tweets this morning that were like, is there any way you could potentially talk about this on your show? We need more people to know about it. What is it?
Yeah, I mean, I always knew that people didn't like it, but I think only recently, like, the public outcry has gotten so bad. Like, I saw the couple screenshots got released of the new game, and, like, some guy, like, zoomed in really tight, and you can see that they had, like, it still said Madden 19 on there, and, like, the crowd, and, like, Madden 20. So they really don't, I mean, it's like polishing up a turd, you know? Like, they don't do shit. They just change the rosters over pretty much.
Here's somebody that was tweeting about it, a little bit upset, who plays the game a lot. Ladies and gentlemen, Darius Butler.
Can't hear you guys.
Can you hear us?
I can't hear you, Pat.
Oh, I can hear you.
I can't hear you.
Oh, man. No. Z.
Unmute.
Z. Unbelievable. Hey, he was passionate about it. Do you see the new backdrop?
There we go.
Here we go.
There we go. What's good, baby?
Hey, D-Butt, love the backdrop. Love what you got going on. You look good. Great to talk to you. This weekend, the internet got loud about EA Sports and what they've done with the Madden franchise. You were a part of that community. What is the problem with Madden, and why does everybody hate EA Sports for it?
It just hasn't developed for a long time, man. It hasn't developed, and it's gotten real glitchy. The real football movements aren't there. I actually a few months ago, maybe a few weeks ago, I reached out to Twitter hey man, let me come in and help you fix this game, because this, like you said, it's like a community. I grew up playing Madden as a kid. I always wanted to be on Madden. Obviously I wanted to make it to the NFL, but being on Madden was a big deal. Checking your ratings, that's a big deal. So I don't play it as much anymore, and part of it is because it hasn't.
That's mad.
Because it hasn't developed and got better. So it's definitely a lot of room for improvement. I want them to get better, man.
So that's why everybody hates you, just because the game isn't as good as it could be or as it should be in the year 2020. And the Madden community is listen, we gave you a chance in 2017, 2018, 2019. This is bullshit. It's costing us how much money is a new game?
$60.
$60, and you're just giving us the same game with new jerseys on it. Is that why everybody's upset at EA Sports?
Is that because you got a different part, you got different modes. So some people like the MUT mode. Some people like playing franchise. I was a franchise guy. I wanted to create a franchise. I wanted to sign guys. I wanted the game plan, extend all this type of stuff. That mode is horrible. So playing that, and then you just look back and the game was, I feel so much better 10, 15 years ago. And then now you see a lot of people talking about when 2K had the game. And back in 2005, and how that game is still better than today's game. So it's so much room to grow, and people feel like EA has gotten lazy on their part on making it a better product because they have exclusive rights to the NFL roster. And so they're saying, that's why you see the hashtag. I think NFL dropped EA because the fans want a better product. Man, I can't blame them.
Well, that's what it's like anywhere. If they don't have any competition, why wouldn't they get lazy? It sounds like EA is comfortable. If they have exclusive rights for the rosters and nobody else does, there's no one else that can push them off that ledge. It's got to be the NFL that dump them because there's no other company that's going to come in and take it over, is there?
I would feel like I'm getting bamboozled. That's what they feel like. You're you're hustling me out of $60 every year, and it's the same old bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. Because the price is going up. So if the price is going up, I need the game to get better. I need the game to improve. You got players. If you look on any of these players, I'll add you to my team or I'll play against you. And then you go look at the comments. It's a bunch of comments just destroying the game. You see a lot of people posting customer reviews. So it's all. I don't understand how they're that, unaware to fix it at this point.
It got a 0.4 or something like that out of 100. It got out of 10.
No.
Out of 100?
Yeah, I believe so.
It got a 0.4 score from the community, the Madden community, out of 100 or something like that. I don't even know how that's even possible.
We got to get their attention, man. We got to get something going. Cause I'm a part of the community. I don't want to see them go. I like if it's in the game, it's in the game. I grew up with that, man. So we gotta figure something out, man. We got to.
The internet was loud this weekend. I mean, the internet was loud this weekend.
Well, and why would they care? Because like you said, they have the exclusive right. All these people are bitching after the fact when they've already bought the game. So it's
next year will be better.
Yeah,
I haven't bought the game.
Exactly.
I haven't bought it this year.
Oh, so
last year I was so disappointed last year that I stopped. I usually play it through the football season, and then I stopped. And then last year I stopped playing it a lot earlier, and then this year I didn't even buy it. Bless you. Bless you.
Thank you.
My boy and Lamar Jackson's on it. You would think, try to get the younger fans. And the thing about it too is, now that I think about it, fans are more educated now, right? So fans know when you're doing unrealistic things. Now, they know a lot better today than they knew 15 years ago. You just watch it more, you consume it more. So now it's you don't just have the players who are looking at come on, my linebacker's 5 yard deep. You wouldn't pick off a seam route that's 25 yards down the field.
Oh.
Now you got fans who know that. So they got to do something. They got to do something quick, man.
Hey, You're boycotting it. I assume a lot of other people are, and the internet was loud. They'll have to change something. Or how long do they have the deal for? Isn't 2K coming back? I think 2K is coming back.
I think the deal's up. I'm 90% wrong on this, but I'll say about 4 years. Somewhere 4 or 5 years, that area.
90% wrong? I mean, what
Well,
is
10% chance.
I've never heard
900?
somebody preface a statement that, listen, I'm about 90% wrong here, but this
I
motherfucker.
may say 90% chance it will be wrong.
2026.
2026. You were right. Hey, 5, 6 years
Yeah!
you said.
It was set to expire after 2021, but they extended it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll talk to you again this week, I assume, with something about something. How do you feel about Alvin Kamara sitting out 3 days so far?
Wait, what now? That's news to me.
Okay, so Adam Schefter just reported it today. He said Alvin Kamara has had 3 unexcused absences from training camp, and they think it's due to business situations. So the Saints are already framing that, right, with unexcused absence, that they are going to fine him and the entire thing.
Yeah.
He's sitting out as opposed to sitting in or holding in like Melvin Ingram. He's actually left training camp already. I don't know how this is going to work out, but there is a packed running back market next offseason. This is a big deal.
He's up next year, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, wow, that's interesting. That's very interesting. But, I mean, if there's one offense that can keep it moving without one of their key players, it's the Saints. So, I feel like they got the leverage right now, unfortunately.
They have all the leverage, by the way. There's 10 free agent running backs coming up in the free agency, and they have Latavius Murray, and they can pick and choose who has a great year in that offense.
Fournette.
Absolutely. They added Sanders this year, too, give Breeze another weapon. So, yeah, I think it'll be unfortunately, I don't think he's in a good spot right now. But running backs as a whole is just, man, I never let my kid play running back.
Punter?
Absolutely. You play forever. Come on,
yeah. Or retire.
Or you just go and get rock star and wrestle and do whatever the hell you want. Shit, yeah, your punters in there.
Hey, I appreciate you guys being in my corner. Ladies and gentlemen, Darius Butler. Hey, he was passionate about this weekend. And I texted him, I'm like, yo, I'm getting a lot of tweets right now about dropping EA. What the fuck's going on? He's like, the game sucks, man. That's what he said.
Yeah, they suck at basketball, too. I mean, 2K really has become the new platform for it.
Hey, that's such good business, AJ. That is such good business for them because they know everybody's going to buy the. Jesus. Are you okay?
What the hell's going on?
Boom mic. I got this. Hold on.
Middle of the first day.
There we go. I'll just hold this sucker. Like this. Wow, everything's falling.
Hey,
I got my bag of cigar ashes here.
Oh, it got too heavy.
So it's going to fall.
Got too heavy.
That thing looks like it's 50 pounds.
Get an ashtray,
well, it's a couple
AJ.
days worth, bud.
Hey, do you remember what he did to the back patio down there?
Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah.
Bro, we got a fine. We got a fine from the place.
No,
that
I
we rented.
cleaned it up.
No,
Not
didn't.
good enough.
No, you
Connor
didn't,
found
AJ.
the little dustpan and everything, and I sweeped.
We were
up
out there,
before I
yeah.
left.
No, and me and Tony did, not you, AJ.
Well,
No, after you left, Connor, I went and smoked more cigars, so I cleaned up.
No way, not you.
Second batch.
Hey, did you hear Jet Passon made Diggs dance the other day? He said Diggs dance, and Diggs started shimmying for him out of nowhere. Just Jet Passon pumping
Like
Diggs.
on command, like Jet just
Yeah.
comes alphas the show like that.
Listen, I am at the bottom of the totem pole when it comes to anyone who comes on this show, so I will dance for anyone.
Well, that's very nice of you.
I respect that, Diggs.
Hey, good for the show.
Good for the show.
I appreciate it.
I know my place.
Hey, attaboy, Tone.
Where do you think Leonard Fournette's going to go? You said you had 2 places you thought he could potentially land at.
Oh, I did before the break. Yeah, thank you for coming in, and we're going to nail down that tease that we had before we went to a break earlier.
Hell yeah.
I forgot we were pissed off at Madden. I completely forgot about it. Bro, that was massive on the internet this weekend. It was a wave. Like I got a lot of tweets. Normally, I'll get a couple of tweets. I can kind of see what's going on. I got like a lot of people. It was like, brrr, like, hey, we need you to be a part of this movement, man. We need you to be a part of this movement. I'm like, Madden, they pissed me off too with my low ass rating. So I don't play video games. Fuck it, I'll go after them if it's warranted. And then everybody's saying they're just stealing from people. It's wild scene of it.
EA though, people are mad at EA. So if they have a deal for 4 or 5 more years, what does our commissioner Raj Goodell have to go back to him and say, hey man, we're out, we're done? Like, can he do that?
New Raj.
Oh, yeah?
This is a new commish.
He's listening to the people. You're right. He's giving the people what they want. Like when they cry out to him, he's like, I am here for you. I am your fearless leader.
He's our commissioner.
He's our commissioner.
Yeah.
What if Roger Goodell calls a press conference today? You know? All right, listen, there's a lot of obviously very serious things to talk about, and I would like to get to those. But in our business, We are currently a free agent when it comes to video games because EA Sports hasn't been keeping up with the product to protect the Shield. They've been disgracing the Shield with their lack of effort in upgrades in the player community for Madden. What if he did that? Oh, my God.
Awesome.
People wouldn't know what to do. They're like, is this guy the best guy on earth? I think it is. All of a sudden, out of nowhere. That would be wild. But there's so much money in there, I bet. How much is EA Sports paying the NFL, I assume? I assume
to
it's
use the players' names and like everyone, the coaches, everything.
No,
Man,
Belichick won't let him use his likeness.
Belichick's not in there.
Is that real?
Yeah. Only coach is not in there.
That's awesome.
So
I
they
wish
sign individual deals with coaches.
Chaz
Do they do that with
McDaniels.
players? How's that work?
Yeah, because players with the NFLPA, remember, that's why we always get our Madden checks whenever they.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how they set you up to do the NFLPA yearly meeting. Is they say, hey, once we go through this, you get your Madden checks. Like that is always like it's always tagged. Like, hey, we got to do our NFLPA role meeting, new pitch, and then at the end, Madden checks, and it's always at the end of like a 10-hour day. So they're like, at the end, does anybody have any questions with how we operate and maybe where money's being allocated and decisions like that, or do you guys just want to get out of here and get your Madden checks? All right, give us that fucking $10,000. Let's go ahead and get out of here.
So earlier the year, like I said, there was a 5-year extension with EA to continue the Madden video game franchise. The deal will reportedly provide $1 billion to the NFL, $500 million to the players, and another $500 million in marketing commitments.
So Roger Goodell's not going to come out and say that we.
No.
But he could put pressure on EA to be like, hey, this game needs to evolve. Like the fans need you to do something. And they could say, cool, we got a 4-year deal. Have fun, bud.
Yeah, that's what we paid all that money for, by the way. We're just ciphering. It's the same exact product. It's just getting out there. We're just collecting money at this point. It's a math game for us. It's not even really a video game thing. The amount of people that are going to buy it, we'll up the fee. We'll get that money back 2-3 years, and then the back end we'll bank off of. So this is on you, Raj. We'll see you next negotiation period about 4 years from now. And by the way, going into that contract year, I would assume that game is going to be the best game that they've put out. They might be preparing now to put that game out.
Madden 2026.
So that they can get the deal again. Yeah, that's for sure what they're doing. Fucking, they're moving.
Hey, you want me to go back to my Fournette, the two teams, I think?
Yeah. In the game of Madden, which team do you think Fournette will be playing for?
In the game of Madden, if I was Leonard Fournette, and I think this I'm going to pose this as a question. Let me know if you think it could be a trend. For years and years, it's been, okay, hey, a guy, we know he's a solid player. Team let him go, may have had some issues, whatever. What do you do? Oh, we go to the Patriots. We try to get a ring. That's been what people have done. So now I feel like there's two teams. The Patriots, people want to go to mainly just to see like the aura of what the Patriot way is, what Bill Belichick is like. You still can't count him out no matter what. Tom Brady's not there. Cam Newton looks great. We know he posts hype videos that you get juiced for when he's working out.
Yeah, new
there.
Cam.
Or
new
the second
chip
team,
on
why
the
wouldn't you go to
shoulder.
Tampa Bay? You can go to Tampa Bay and chase a ring with Tommy, or you can go to New England, his old home, and chase it with Bill Belichick. I feel like those are two good options for him.
They got a lot of running backs on Tampa. I'm not sure they have salary cap, is what everybody has said. The Patriots, though, is a
They don't
place.
have much space, but they can make it work. If they want to, you can make it work.
Hey, that's with anything in life, AJ. Ponder that.
He used to clear waivers, right?
Why do you think I'm holding this boom arm with doing a mid bicep curl this whole time, trying to?
Oh, you
not
yoked.
look banging.
Oh, let's see it. Let's see it. You yoked
I
up
can't-
over there?
Can't see it, but I'm just holding this thing like this because it's attached to my desk. But I was jostling it around earlier, I think during a break, and it became unhinged.
This show is unhinged. Where's Bob Carpenter, by the way? The Big Ten.
Unhinged.
Hey, the Big Ten. What I talked about, I led off the show with this, so that's like 3 hours ago at this point, so we can dive into it again. Central Arkansas, Austin Peay went after it this weekend. Matt Berry, Mike Golick Jr. on the call. I enjoyed the hell out of it. I watched a couple high school football games. Shout out to Brownsburg getting a big win, Indiana school. And then shout out to Austin Peay and Central Arkansas putting on a show. Felt like football was back. Now, granted, I had to Google who the hell they were, where they were, everything like that. What division is this? I thought I was watching potentially D3 football. I didn't know exactly what I was watching, but I was happy I was watching it. And I immediately went right to the thoughts of the Big Ten fans who have never heard of fucking Central Arkansas in Austin. These two teams get to play on ESPN on primetime television on Saturday night, and we're not even going to have football this season. I mean, I couldn't help but think like that. And now the question needs to be asked. Does Austin Peay and Central Arkansas have a distinct recruiting advantage over Ohio State? Because they can clearly say that they care about football, and people at Ohio State and the Big Ten just don't care about football. Look out for Central Arkansas and Austin Peay to potentially steal some 5 stars out of that Rust Belt in Ohio, especially after with how this is going. Ain't that right, AJ?
You never know. It's a weird world we're living in right now, huh, Pat?
It's awesome.
I don't know. I don't think it's probably not going to have as large an impact as you think moving forward. But you know what? I would never say never on this one.
The fans had to be so pissed though. Big Ten fans, and I can't wait.
They still are. It grows every single day. They had a rally at Ohio State Stadium right outside the Rotunda on Saturday, I believe. I think a couple assistant coaches even showed up. It was all the parents of the players. Like they're doing all kinds of stuff.
Bob was there, wasn't he?
Yeah, General Bob.
Did he have the megaphone?
The bullhorn?
Honestly, I should have sent Bobby a text because I'm sure if he was in town, he would go. He might have had obligations. He probably zoomed in. He probably had someone zoom him in.
Voice of
if
God.
he had like a kid's obligation.
Like V for Vendetta when that guy's up on the front of the thing, like leading the entire thing. It is whenever September 26th or whenever it's going to be. I think it was when most of these conferences are going to start off. ESPN is going to be packed on Saturday, which is primetime games. Everybody who's playing is going to be all over TV. And then that rankings is going to have to show that. If the Big Ten presidents, which allegedly are going back and changing course on their original thoughts because of more information, which really means the reaction to the first decision, if they don't go back, it's going to be intriguing to watch Ohio, Michigan, Iowa, Nebraska. Like it's going to be Penn State fans who have Pitt and Temple in the same state playing in the. It is going to be, it's going to be fun to watch. It is going to be. Just terrible for the fans, obviously. Hey. Terrible for the fans. Not happy about it.
Sorry.
But boy, from a spectator watching just the anger just blow up for good reason, by the way, for just reason, is going to be amazing to watch.
Right now on ESPN, if you look at the college football schedule, the ACC is scheduled to start Saturday, September 12th.
Oh, my God. Trevor Lawrence is out there.
So is the Big 12.
Trevor Lawrence's hair is flowing. He's handing it off to Travis Etienne, having a good time. Justin Fields is just sitting there like, what the fuck is going on here? I'm practicing sitting in my dorm for no reason at all. It is good. Now, by the way, we want everybody to be safe. We have to preface that.
Right.
We want everybody to be safe. We don't want any deaths or anything like that, 10 year down the road, anything like that. But just strictly from a sports side, that's going to be insane to watch unfold.
Well, think how angry they're going to be. Like if you're a fan of one of these blue bloods that's not playing, and you're watching Clemson play, and you're watching Alabama play, and each week they keep popping up the AP top 25. You're like, wait, we were up there preseason, but why are we out of it, or why are we dropped down to 19 now after week 1? Like, well, yeah, because you're not playing, bud. And it's nothing that you guys did. It's what's going on around the world and what the Big Ten decided.
The state of Cincinnati is going to be higher than Ohio State in the rankings at some point, and I am here for that reaction in Ohio. I am 100% here for it. It's a wild time to be alive, AJ. It feels like the NFL is going to go, though, and it's going to go well. The Lucas Oil Stadium is reporting that they want to have 15% of the stadium at capacity. I believe other stadiums have said 25%. Some people have said 0%. Who knows what any of that is going to be until, the day before the game happens. But I do feel, I don't know if that Austin Peay game had any fans, but those high school games,
packed out.
There was real sound coming from that thing. I don't know what football is going to be on TV with or without sound, because there's been some games that they've put fake sound in that just sound terrible. Then there's been some sports where they put fake sound in. It's like, oh, that makes sense. I don't even really notice. I'll be intrigued to see how they balance that whole
There
thing.
was a report last week that they were going to come out and if they were experimenting the sound, maybe 75 to 85 decibels, which is similar to a vacuum cleaner. That was the report came out last week.
Hey, vacuum cleaner will fuck up a snap count, won't it, AJ?
Mike McCarthy's not a fan, you see. They asked him about it, and he's basically tried to beat around the bush and say, like, I'm not a fan of this.
Say that one more.
Is that how he did it?
What did he say?
Big Mike has the greatest Pittsburgh accent that I wish I could do. But he's dead serious. But yeah, I can understand it. Aren't they trying to find like a uniform level to pump into each place, right? So there's no like competitive advantage. So if it's 85 decibels in Jacksonville, it's 85 in Green Bay.
Well, shout out to the teams that can't fill up their stadium or don't have really loud fans. If we're just going to be pumping in that, Tom Brady made the joke about the RCA Dome for the Indianapolis Colts. Back in the day, the RCA. I heard that place used to get very, very, very loud, and obviously there were some complaints.
The speakers did.
The
fans did.
That was before my time. I was at Lucas Oil. Lucas Oil was built for comfort, not for it to be very loud. So that'd be intriguing because there's some places it's so loud. That's a real advantage. Like when we would go down to Houston. That place was so loud. Pittsburgh, so loud. I never got to play in Seattle, but New England, so loud and arrogant. I mean, that's like a real.
City is very loud too.
Kansas City, yeah.
Baltimore, you always talk about.
But not a lot of not everywhere is like that, right? There's some places that it's a distinct advantage. And Mike McCarthy, offensive side of the ball, he's a guy that wants no sound in every single stadium, anyways, because they have the ability to communicate. So, I mean, there's going to be a lot of reactions to that, but it's all government, right? Isn't this fucking government deciding what they're doing or not? I got no
Government's
shot.
deciding on the decibels that they can have?
No, with the fans, the amount of fans allowed in. Because I would assume if you're putting in 25% of your fans, are you also going to be allowed to have the vacuum decibels on top of that as your speaker system?
Good point, yeah. Like if you're a team that has 0 fans in the stands, can I turn it up to 120 decibels?
Can we get a little give and go here? A little give and take here? Are we allowed to have the same amount of decibels? Are we trying to be fair? Or are we not trying to be fair? You tell me. And does the sound have to be uniform? Or can they have like the like the most annoying sound in the world playing? Or does it have
high screech?
You know what I mean? Or is there like
It's like a fan app.
Yeah, who do they pick to yell? You know, there's a lot of questions here. They're gonna have to balance that all out. But I know NFL's coming back, and I'm pumped about it.
Hell yeah,
pumped about it.
Why are you fully confident the NFL's coming back because we see things like Austin Peay playing on TV? Yeah. And I don't know what it's like in Indiana, but I know Ohio, they played high school football this past Friday.
Well, the Brownsburg actually played an Ohio team, I believe, and won.
Yeah.
Shout out to Brownsburg. Indiana high school football is obviously.
What Ohio team did they play?
Far superior.
St. Xavier, I think.
St. X.
They're good, too.
St. X is legit, yeah.
Yeah, Brownsburg just kind of, I think, middle of the pack here in Indiana. I think a lot of people would say they're good.
Okay, team.
Are we getting into an Indiana versus Ohio high school football
no,
debate
I'm just talking about what happened. I'm just talking about what happened on Friday. Emmett McMahon played high school football here in Indiana. What are you saying about Brownsburg? What's he saying?
Good QB this
Brownsburg
year.
has a good QB this year. You have one good QB, take down all of Ohio football.
They are sponsored by Jordan as well.
Brownsburg football. You know what's sad, though? You know, it's very interesting because Ohio high school football is getting beat by Indiana high school football. Yeah. Ohio State can't play football, but everybody else. I mean, Ohio, is everything okay? I mean, is everything okay in Ohio right now?
For now, I mean, hey, you know what? Until those big-time schools kick off, I think they're going to hold it together okay because there's still hope that, the president's maybe reconsidering, maybe a Thanksgiving start or maybe some other time. Like, there's still hope. When they realize, like, they cross the threshold of no hope, that's when it could get bad.
Do you think there is no hope of them changing course, huh?
I don't know, man. I think they're so worried about what it would look like if they changed course maybe, even though people could say, oh, yeah, you backpedaled, you made that decision too early. But, hey, like, what's bigger of a person to do than to admit a mistake and try to make up for it? Like, hey, you know what? I was wrong. It's like cutting a draft pick or something. Hey,
Patriots.
I was wrong. We're out. Let's go. Like, I made the right decision. I reconsidered. We feel like we can do this now.
The self-awareness of admitting fault is a massive ordeal, and not a lot of people can do it because they are scared that people will judge them for admitting fault, and then you're pointing at your failures. Yeah. So the Patriots, I think they're a team that if they'll pay somebody this amount of money and somebody this amount of money comes in and they do a better job, see you later. We made a bad decision. We'll learn from that and move forward. As long as we have the best foot forward, let's go. That's like what good organizations do. Everybody else is just like, trying to save your own ass when the rest of the world sees you're fucking up. That's kind of a problem. I mean, I feel like that is potentially a problem. And
I get it.
The Big Ten, though, they think that they didn't. They thought they were going to be heroes because of this decision. So it's like, can you change those minds just because of a backlash? I don't know. I hope so, but I don't know.
Well, maybe they're trying to get ahead of it. They think like, hey, down the road there could be issues or something. I'm sure they're worried about what it looks like 5-10 years down the road. And then they could gloat that they were ahead of something. That's probably in the dream world what they feel like.
I think Kevin is getting a hold of your feed right now.
He is. What is happening to my feed ever since my mic fell off and everything? Everything froze.
Hey, that's Ohio right now.
Yeah.
That's
Get
Ohio
your shit
crumbling.
together.
This is Ohio right now, dude. I love Ohio, by the way. I love Ohio. People know I love Ohio.
Yeah.
Got a lot of friends from Ohio.
Yeah. Well, call him back here.
Ohio's we got to wrap up the show. I think you should say goodbye or whatever, Ohio's hey, that Austin Peay Central Arkansas thing, fucking unbelievable watching that. And all I thought about the entire time, and I've said this, I've harped on it pretty hard, but just put yourself in their position. There's people in Ohio who live and die with the Ohio State Buckeyes. They are a cult through and through. And there's Michigan people as well, Michigan State people, but I have felt the wrath of the Ohio State cult. So I've actually seen it in person. There's people that live and die with that. And they're watching Central Arkansas figure it out. And they're like, are you kidding me? We cannot do this. And they just get angry as hell, I'd assume.
When I was watching that game, I was just imagining General Bob Carpenter just gritting his teeth into dust because he knew that Ohio State wasn't going to be playing this year.
And how much money do those two teams make compared to a team like Ohio State? Like millions and millions of dollars less?
We've been mocking this whole situation. We've been millions. We've been mocking this entire situation heavily, but I mean, we really do have to think about our friends in Ohio State and Iowa and Nebraska and Michigan. While football does return for all of us, it feels like It is long, long, long away in those places.
Sorry.
I don't know if this is important at all, but there was a tweet that went out that NCAA trademark battle in the bubble, so they intend the bubble.
Yeah, but that could be for March Madness. You don't know if that's March Madness or you don't know if it's basketball or football, but the trademark for battle in the bubble, which you would have thought was already taken, by the way.
Yeah, it's a good name.
You would think that would already taken, but nobody knows if that is for football or basketball. But here's the NCAA. Look at this. What are we, 6 months, 7 months into this thing? Starting to get their trademarks in?
for them.
Not a bad idea there by the NCAA. That was what those emergency meetings were for whenever they were getting called the other weekend.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a huge deal that they filed for that. I guess what they're probably thinking worst case scenario. What if next fall we're still in a weird situation where we don't feel comfortable? Are we going to bubble these guys?
I think it's for March Madness.
I agree.
Back to you can't miss two.
Guys,
you can't have two March Madnesses canceled in a row. You're right.
Can't have it, won't have it. No amount of money we lost and championships and everything. Like March Madness was kind of the NCAA's like crown jewel. Like, look what we do. One shining moment. These student human athletes, if they were to fuck that up 2 years in a row and not have it, they would probably be insane. I would assume that's what the battle in the bubble is, but it could be for football as well.
Are we allowed to go over by a little bit?
Yeah, sure. What do you got?
It's pretty interesting. Cowboys owner Jerry Jones says on team broadcast the club is practicing today with no numbers, no names on jerseys because Dallas wants to avoid other 31 teams from claiming a player it cuts. Hopes to retain coveted talent, signing those players to practice squad.
Fucking awesome. This is so smart. This is so smart. Let's go ahead and screw over all of our bubble guys because that could potentially help us if a COVID outbreak happens and we have to have an extra 30 guys that nobody knows about. This is big brain football stuff. This is the same organization that put their practice field directly in the middle of a fucking office complex that has a bunch of offices and windows to there. This is smart. We saw the videos and pictures of this pop up from this weekend. It was white versus blue. Couldn't even tell it was Dak Prescott, but it appeared as if it was Dak Prescott throwing a perfect pass in the corner under Mike McCarthy's offense. This is big brain stuff. Good idea, Jerry Jones. Make sure none of those guys will ever have an opportunity playing anywhere else because you potentially might need them week 9 or 10. This is smart football here.
Well, should he have said this publicly? Like you could practice something, no names, no numbers. People could think. Like, I know the Patriots do that a lot in the offseason. Don't they wear T-shirts or they always have young guys wearing a young running back wearing number 79 or something. They do that a lot. I don't know what's their reasoning. Do you know?
Just rookies. They don't give them numbers until
you got to earn your pinstripes.
Exactly. There you go.
Yeah, you got to earn numbers.
I get it. That makes sense. But yeah, Jerry, it's fine to do it. But I feel like bringing attention to this, there might be a rule in the rule book now that comes out.
Hey, listen, I signed everybody on our fucking team but our quarterback to a 10-year deal. Our team is locked down, especially at the top. We spent a lot of money, but that bottom half of the roster, we got a bunch of nobody. So we decided that they should be acted and treated as such. No fucking numbers, no fucking names for anybody. We might need them whenever COVID, you heard of COVID, knocks out 30 of our players. Those 30 players that I do not surely know their name either, we are going to need them on our squad, not anywhere else, so they get no film for anybody. What do you think? People are watching Inside Training Camp daily on NFL Network. Like, how are people coming into the office complex that's surrounding the practice field? Where do they think people are watching these practices from and seeing footage? Just highlights making its way onto the internet? I don't fully understand. I mean, I love it if you're that big of a savage to everybody, but this just feels like something you keep in your inside voice. This inside voices here.
Yeah, it's something you even if you talk about it in a staff meeting, you tell them, hey man, it stays in here.
Nobody
like,
hey.
This first off, we don't want other teams doing this to us now, and B, it just doesn't make any sense to me. But I guess it makes it that much more difficult for coaches. Imagine being an assistant coach. You had a virtual off season. You didn't get to work with all these guys. You have 80 guys on the roster. Hey, you got. They're just yelling. You can't even yell a name, number, nothing.
I'm thinking
dude in the Cowboys helmet. You're over here. You're in.
I'm thinking of film right now. Who's this? Who's
this? That's not me, Coach. If it was a bad playback, that's not me.
That was you. That was him. No, that's not me. Look at the shoes. Look at the same shoes. That's not. Who is this? Imagine the film study within the house. Fuck outside. Imagine the coaches inside. Oh, they have to hate it. Big Mike is like, we can't even have her numbers, Donner. I mean, what do we? I mean, what a scene down. Dallas is awesome. And here's, by the way, first day 3-hour show, YouTube noon to 3, new time slot. Here's our obligatory Cowboys talk.
There it is.
Look at that. Right. This entire thing up. We carried it off of Westwood right here onto YouTube. Next week onto Sirius. AJ, how do you think the show went today? Pretty good or no?
I think it went great. Yeah, I got to watch some of your 2 hours before I jumped on here. It was good. I was entertained.
I fucking love this schedule, by the way. I don't know Like right now, I'm gonna probably go work out right now.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm probably
That's
go work out. What? No. I no alarm this morning. Woke up 7:30. It was a little brighter outside. Had that moment of, no, new day, new schedule. Got a chance to come in here. We had numerous hours that we had to fucking. Did you see the thing we had in the first show, AJ? Did you see the
rundown?
The rundown thing, which is awesome. We look like a real show. We had a lot more viewers from the West Coast, the left coast, who don't normally get to watch because it's so early. I feel like we found a good home here.
Yeah.
It's only day one. Pretty happy about it.
Yeah, looks good, man. I'm excited to be on board.
Well, except for Wednesday.
Jeez.
Yeah. Previous commitment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fix it.
What are you and Brady Quinn going to talk about? Should we listen to that show? What channel is it on?
Well, it's 12 to 3. It's the exact same time as
Competition.
Wow.
So you're joining the competition.
So me, you and Brady Quinn, and Mike Greenberg going head to head on Wednesday.
None of us are getting viewers. You know, that's Greeny's radio show, right? So we're all screwed.
Well, I agree.
Good point.
I am not thrilled that we got to go against Greeny every single day on radio. I do not love that. But it felt like what you just said there was a little bit deeper than anything else that was
No,
said.
dead serious. I'm glad I come on 2 to 3. Greeny's show's 12 to 2. So I don't. At least my part of it is not in direct competition.
2 Hall of Fames that guy's been in.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Probably
What did
3
we
by
do?
the end of it.
You know, nowadays with the way things are consumed, and everybody knows this that watches this show, like our clips are what everybody watches.
Yeah.
So I would assume that our show's on from maybe 9 to 10 at night for some people because they just watch clips and then they get recommended and force fed us after that. That is what YouTube does, by the way. I fucking accidentally watched one of the clips we put up from before, and then boom, the recommended one was like one from 2 years ago.
Bang.
And then there was another one of me. I'm like, I'm thinking of humans that don't know who I am. They're just fucking, I'm just popping up on the who the fuck is this guy? Get me out of here. But shout out to YouTube. Thankful to be here.
Keep doing it.
Thankful to be here.
Very thankful. You look good. Your spray tan looks like it's faded a bit. So yeah, you're looking more normal, Pat, like you usually look.
Still on though, you know, it still is a spray tan.
It's good though. Don't you like that?
I do, yeah. I do. The whole body isn't
Maybe
the
you're just
same.
tan.
Look at that though. I mean, I got like weird.
Fix that.
You know what I mean?
Don't you lift your arms up and get sprayed? Don't you do that?
Well, there's 4 poses. You know what I mean? You got to do this one, then this one, then this one, then this one, and then you go. Please hold still while we dry, and then a fan comes.
You're the robot.
And you got to like kind of move into it. Yeah. They do have you dance through the whole thing, but I like it. But I wish it was a little bit more coated in the underarm areas.
A lot of friction though. Like when you're running, when you're on the stair climb, like you probably wear it off.
I ran sprints this weekend. Did you see that? I tweeted about it. I ran 8 110s. I'll tell you what, that was a mistake.
Why would you run 110s?
I don't know. So that's like the size of my yard, you know, my backyard from end to end. And I was going to go punt. I was going to go kick balls because I was like kind of getting tired of doing the Stairmaster every day. I was like, you know what? Whenever I kick, I sprint to the ball anyways or jog to the ball. It's like a nice little workout. Swing the ball. It's fall. Hey, here we go. We'll kick some balls again. I kicked like 4 balls and my knee started hurting. I'm like, fuck this. Not getting back into this. So I just put the balls back in the bag. And then I was just back there. I had my cleats on. I was on a big field. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to run some sprints right here. It can't be that bad. I'll go end to end. I'll touch fence to fence. And I ran that first one. I was like, not too bad. You know, first one wasn't too bad. Then I did the second one. I was like, oh boy, this is going to catch up. And there's nobody out there yelling at you. So I just set a number in my head. I was like, I'll do 8 of these whenever I was doing the first one. So then it was like a real like me versus me moment. Like, do I want to just cut these back or not? I puked in the backyard. I puked all over the backyard. It was tough, bub. It was very tough out there.
You gonna jump back out there and do it again today?
I think so. 9 of them. Let's go do it.
Hell yeah!
Hell yeah!
Yeah, what are you doing? You're just a fitness freak.
Well, Vinatieri said I should try it whenever I'm 47 years old. I don't think I'm going to live that long. We all know that. But Vinatieri is a guy who probably is running 110s in his backyard right now, if I had to guess. Oh, yeah. He's a freak fitness-wise.
Is he really? I mean, he has no reason to be. I mean, I guess. Whoa. Yeah, he doesn't. I should say he doesn't have to.
How dare you?
What are you saying? What are you saying?
To be a great kicker, you don't have to be.
You do. I think you do. I think you do.
I think it helps. Yeah,
that's the problem. That's the problem.
He's 47 years old. He's that old.
Yeah. By the way, I think he
looks amazing.
He'll get in there too. By the way, the bench, and he'll like try to beat people bench wise. Like it is. He's OG when it comes to all that stuff. He has not made a decision, right? What he's doing.
Have not seen anything.
Have not seen anything. Why don't you ask?
Someone will bring him in.
If he wants. I don't know if he
I was
wants to.
gonna say, take your time.
I have no idea if he wants to. I saw him at the wedding. He came to my wedding. Shout out to AJ. He came to my wedding, and
good job, AJ.
I got to talk to him a little bit. He seemed so happy. He had some Versace shoes on.
Oh, yeah. Leopard print.
Island.
Oh man, he looked good too. He looked very good.
47 years old, man. Well, he should just hang out, keep kicking, feel good about it, and then if a contender needs a kicker, just go sign for the second half of the season and get another ring.
Week 10, you only got to kick for what? 14 weeks at that point if you go through that, and then what?
Wait, it's a dome team or it's a warm weather down south?
Oh, that would be such a good move. Maybe he does that like for the next 4 years so he can kick until he's 50. Oh, that's a good move. I don't want to put too many things in his ears.
But why are the Bucs not calling him?
Do we know if they are?
Maybe they are.
Maybe they will.
Yeah,
It's not been confirmed.
We have no idea.
Nor denied.
The Bucs have had kickers come in because they're looking for a kicker. They had Ryan Suckup come in. They had Cody Parkey come in. Who knows who's going to win that battle? Bruce Arians is a hilarious person to kick for. If you make kicks, we're cool. If not, BA can turn on you. I assume I've seen it happen via outside perspective. He sent Catanzaro out of there. He's not scared to be like, hey, listen, I've been around football a long time. You're in a cold streak. You got to have a new home. See you later. Like he's actually said, like this, you know how this works. You got to go. If you make kicks, all good. We're here in this together. So they're bringing in kickers. There's a guy out there named Taylor Russolino, and I've said his name a couple times. He kicked for the XFL Battlehawks, the St. Louis team. He's never been in the NFL. He's unbelievable. I hope he gets a chance to work out. But I would assume they're probably calling Vinny to see, like, hey, how you feeling down there? Look at him. Look at him over there on the far.
Where's AJ in that photo?
AJ, look at that
That's
guy.
at the wedding, is it?
Wow.
I didn't play for the Colts.
That's true.
Oh, okay.
That's very true.
That's very true. All right. Very, very true.
Hasselbeck with the jacket, too.
Hey, he always comes like super nice dressed guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's super nice dressed guy all the time.
Big dress guy.
All right, let's get out of here. Hey, that was a pretty good show, AJ.
Yes, I will fix my mic for tomorrow.
Are you still holding that thing up?
Look at my hand. Can you see this hand here? Yeah.
Is your arm cramping
yet?
yet?
My right biceps got a good little pump, so I'm going to have to hold this in the left for about 20 minutes after we're done.
What was that story you wanted to tell us about?
It was a long one.
It was a long one. Go ahead and get into it.
I get it. I get it.
Yeah, see what we're doing there? Ladies and gentlemen, AJ Hawk. That's the show. We will see you tomorrow. That was the show. We're back at noon, manana. Hopefully more guests, more conversation, and hopefully a new microphone for Mr. AJ Hawk. Cheers. Hope you have a great Monday, August 31st.
The greatest sports talk show on the internet from 1 to 2 Eastern Standard Time. So come on down for a mental vacation with the boys on YouTube Live. It's McAfee and Hawk. It's McAfee and Hawk Sports Talk. AJ used to tackle quarterbacks and he's a Rust Belt kind of guy. That's the punter of the decade for the 2010s, kicking Pierce missiles to the sky. It's McAfee and Hawk. It's McAfee and Hawk Sports Talk. It's McAfee and